Hello to everyone around the world. Welcome to Pokémon UNITE Asia Champions League. My name is Lucifer and along with me is Ocean Sharma. We are here bringing you the Indian region action happening. Ocean, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling fantastic, to be very honest. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. And the weather is not that warm, but this competition is going to be heating up definitely with each and every day passing forward. But I'm just excited to see and witness history being made out here. So yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm also excited because we have the best 5 teams from India who have qualified, who have given it their all. We even saw in the grand finals what they were able to do. But what I'm looking forward to now is there going to be a change? In the grand finals, we saw none other than who? God's Reign winning it out. But there are right now rivalries who are cooking up and looking forward to taking down God's Reign. What do you think about that, Ocean?
I mean, think about it, right? God's Reign coming up from, obviously they had the upper bracket advantage, first things first for themselves, but then they lost against Revenant, right? They went to the lower bracket, but from there, a brilliant comeback against Team SA2L and then moving forward again and then finally defeating the ones that were supposed to be champions. They defeated them and then they cemented themselves. So I just believe this time again, it's going to be a good one.
I agree, but now there's something for our viewers as we talk more about the tournament itself. There's giveaway that's happening now. Again, this is mainly for all the international viewers, Malaysia, Singapore. They can have a chance to take these prizes away. There are actually keychains. There's even AOS energies that you can kind of take, not AOS coins that you can even take depending on your watch time, and as well as cool collectibles. So make sure that you go click on the Twitch link, join there, and then connect to Stream Elements where you'll be getting the points allocated. From here now, we're going to be jumping to the qualified teams we'll be talking about. We did mention about the Indian regions, but it's 5 teams from the Indian region, Ocean. But overall, in the Asia Champions League, we have 15 teams. East Asia has 5, Southeast Asia has 5, and India region has 5. But out of this, from every region, we are going to be only seeing top 2 qualifying. And for what? The big leagues, that is the LAN.
We were looking at the other matches as well that were happening. We talked about East Asia, right? We saw the matches that were happening on their side as well. And obviously Southeast Asia, now it's Indian's time as we talk about the schedule right in front of us, our screens. And today we're going to be seeing God's Reign and True Rippers head-to-head just colliding against each other. And then Revenant Esports versus SA2L. This is going to be a really, really good one. On the other sides, we have seen T2 High Five and all those matches happening as well. Secret Rare and Team MYS on the other regions. But today, this is going to be a really, really interesting one moving forward.
Oh yes, I'm very excited. For anybody who's wondering when your favorite teams are playing, you just saw the schedule. Take a screenshot, make a note of it, do join for their matches. It's going to be interesting. But now for the format, as you see in front of your screens, there's the first stage, second stage, and then the finals. I did talk about top 2 teams from every region qualifying, Ocean. But in the first and the second stage, all the 15 teams remain. But we will be talking about how they'll be playing. You already saw in the schedule, and we will be jumping into the points table as well, very well, where you can get an idea about. In the first stage, they will be playing for the positions or the rankings that you can talk about. We'll come into that. But before that, why are they all fighting for it, Ocean? It is for the prize pool and also the crown to call themselves the champions.
Definitely. Obviously, this is the second stage that's going to be just happening right now. And then the finals that are going to be happening, you see $30,000 coming up onto the final side. And that's where every single player gets their own share of $6,000 for themselves. On the second side, we see $15,000 coming up, dollars again, just coming up for these players. And this definitely looks interesting because that's a huge lump sum amount of money that they're going to be getting for themselves. Plus, what matters more? The bragging rights to be called as the champions.
Champions of the Asia Champions League is what we'll be looking forward to. But you can see from the second stage, $5,000 to a huge bump up of $30,000. I'm looking forward to who's going to be walking away with $30,000. But again, that will only happen in the LAN. We will look forward to that. But before that, we can see here the tournament rules. If anybody is wondering, we start off with a 10-minute match. As you all know, it is going to be in Thea Sky Ruins. Items, no limits on them, as well as their levels. Pokemons, no restrictions at all. I mean, except for the draft phase where people can ban. So you don't have to be worried about that. That will still be a ban. But other than that, there is no limitations. Even the new Pokemon that is Dragapult, which I'm more excited to see, Ocean, might also come into play. But which Pokemon are you excited to see?
I've told you, like before this stream, we were just definitely talking about it. But talking about the draft, right, you
Yeah.
can see obviously the ban phase. The first team's going to be banning up one, the second team's going to be banning up one. Then the pick just, start up, and obviously the preparation happens. But coming back to the question, I've played Gengar mostly. I've told you about that. But
Yes.
for me, it's been Mew is something that I want to just see. And as of now, I told you about Snorlax as well. That's also one of my
Hmm.
picks. But Scyther. Saita's going to be someone that we just have to just look forward to and think of. And once again, Dragapult. I would love to witness what Dragapult can do with the Dragon Dance, the Phantom Force, quick attacks, obviously that it has. So we will definitely get to witness that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, especially how we are seeing Scyther, as you mentioned, being, I would say, a pick that is there from every team. It is a generalized pick, or
Hmm.
you could say a standalone or a first pick coming through, just like we used to see Azumarill. When Scyther were initially introduced, Scyther or Scyther, whichever you like, you call it,
Yeah.
it was initially feeling like doesn't have that much of the power and the attack or the damage that it can do, but now it's like really good against face off, where you can put it against Azumarill as well. So we'll be looking forward to how it works out. But I did talk about the rankings, so we'll jump into the league stage or the league table that we'll be seeing. This is for the first stage. You can see all your teams acronyms here: God's Reign, True Rippers, Revenant, SATUL, Marcos. They will fight against each other, and
Yeah.
whoever has most number of victories will be ranked in terms of the position, where you can see in the last column in the points place, whoever gets the victory for that given day or that given match, they'll be gaining them points, but that will also affect in terms of the position. So I'm looking forward to these positions, because Ocean, it'll be very crucial when we jump into the second stage of this Asia Champions League for the India region, because the team in the first ranking will qualify directly to the finals, or at least make themselves a place in the finals. That is going to be the LAN, which will happen all the way in Malaysia.
I mean, that is going to be one of the most important things to witness. Obviously, that is for the future to tell us. As of now,
Hmm.
when we look forward to what the present just has us for us, there are going to be two matches happening up, and both those matches I believe are going to be incredible. But talking about obviously the India stage, that is the second stage right now. You see, this is going to be the seedings that are going to be happening: third seed and fourth seed, and obviously
Yeah.
fourth seed and fifth seed. They're going to be taking up a match against each other. Then they move forward on the day six winner. You see. First seed, well, they have their own chance, own share to move on to the final side. Second seed takes up against whosoever just wins from the previous side. And then we see the finals happening from both of those teams against each other. But once again, this headache is going to be for the future times. Right now, we have to take care of today's
Yeah.
headache. That's going to be, the mental pressure that the players are going to be facing on for themselves, because this is the big leagues now.
Exactly, and coming and becoming the top five teams, you do not want to go away from here, and that's what everybody is fighting for, to
Yeah.
get a chance, qualify, become the top two teams, and then just move ahead, fight on the international stages and the waters with the international teams. A couple of the viewers might be thinking that there is final written right here which says TBD. Now, the team which gets the first ranking in the league stage that we saw in the league table will get a direct chance to qualify for the finals, but the team which is going to be placed in the upper seed or the lower seed, that will be determined between a match of that winner in the bracket, as we discussed. But right now, as you said, Ocean, the match on cards and the headache is between God's Reign and True Rippers. True Rippers, we have not seen them in action, because in the end of the Indian night, we ended up seeing that they were not one of the teams who qualified for the top four. So
Yeah.
right now, this is a redemption chance for them, and they'll be looking forward to taking down the Indian champions.
God's Reign, Divine Spectre, Noxy, Omen, Vixen. I mean, they know how to handle pressure. They have handled this pressure on that LAN event, in fact, when we just talk about it. So online is going to be a
Yes.
piece of cake for them. I believe they have had an average of 800 plus goals before all of this happening.
Oh,
So, and that's not even a small start, right? We have seen comebacks from them back to back happening. So now, when it comes down to the online stages, I believe they know what are the mistakes, and they know how to conquer them, how to just turn them around. And today, God's Reign, for this game, I believe they might as well just get it for themselves.
but again, when we talk about the Indian region, we
Oh.
like to get to know the players a little more. So the trivia is here for our viewers. And Divine from God's Reign, you see his favorite Pokemons. I don't want to talk about the Pokemons, because eventually we'll see down the lane and we'll talk more about it. I want to talk
Yeah.
about what he likes. His favorite song is from Matcha, and the favorite movie is Fight Club. This is interesting. More insights to dive deeper of the player that you like and maybe follow as well, Ocean.
I mean, yeah, Mamoswine and Mr. Mime, cool. That is one thing. But Pacha and Fight Club,
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that I'm loving as well. This is something new. This is something good that the player trivia is just telling us. I'm pretty sure if they win today, they're gonna be just watching a Fight Club or maybe just listening up to the songs of Bacha or something just to celebrate.
Exactly.
That's Divine's pick, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to it. Like at the end of the match, they're done with the best of three, and they're like putting out a song, partying for that evening because every Sunday is going to be a toll for them. They have to do a lot. But as we did talk about God's Reign, there is Ego from True Rippers. His trivia is we don't have what he likes or in terms of the song or movie, but he's very confident. It does say about him, and then he wishes to travel to Canada. I mean, if you qualify for the land, become the top two,
Yeah.
you will travel to Malaysia. And if you win, you will get a check where you can cash it and maybe even spend a vacation in Canada. I hope so, right, Ocean?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was thinking, right? You want to travel to Canada? Well, win. I mean, that's the easiest part. Just coming down to it. Obviously, it is difficult. I get it, but that's going to be the easiest way to go to Canada after all, because he's going to be looking really, really confident. And talking about the confidence that he has in his trivia, I mean, his favorite Pokemon is Revenant as well. So we'll see if he uses it and how Ego's going to be using it, because that's sort of a rhyming scheme, right? Ego is confident. Confidence can give you good ego. So we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, if Ego bests him, then maybe you don't know about how the confidence will play in. But if he's super confident, irrespective of how the game is going, as we talked about it, right? God's Reign having a situation where they were taking losses when we started off the match in their land scenario, but then to get back into the game, that also a reverse sweep when all seemed impossible, all was lost. So I'm looking forward to God's Reign again doing the same thing, or maybe even having a cleaner run, because we have seen God's Reign on online situations fared better. Now it's time, as we start off the game 1 of match 1, the draft phase is here, where initially we are going to be seeing the bans. My expectation is I think there should be a Dodrio ban, as well as maybe a Snorlax, Mew, or maybe a Tyranitar ban. What are your thoughts, Ocean?
Snorlax, Mew, definitely I come to those ones as well. I mean, coming down to be slightly inclined on that side. I'll love to see what happens on them. Plus, we'll have to see what picks just, they come up for themselves. Obviously, there's going to be a little more time remaining for that to just look forward to. And they have it up for themselves. All right, here we see that.
Oh, it's a Sableye.
Sableye.
And a Tyranitar. I mean, previously, yes, in this, as we said, tournament, there's all Pokemons that are there for choosing as well as banning. So Sableye being the first ban is something that I'm surprised to see. But again, Sableye is one of those supporters who can vanish as well and run away. But now we'll talk about the picks. As we did tell, Azumarill and Sizer are some standard picks that we see from teams coming in. So Vixen right out of the gate, he picks up none other than Azumarill, and Kyo on the other end for True Rippers comes up with a Sizer.
Wow. And we see obviously Mr. Mime coming up as well for Noxie, just as we were just definitely talking about it. And Divine coming up with his own pick as well right now. We just have to see what more can we see. Daksh coming up with a Snorlax as well. All right, that definitely comes up good. Right now, I don't know why. I might just change my inclination to True Rippers overall. I just don't know why. I just have this thing. Ego is confident. We know that.
But there's Omen who came out with a Dodrio. This is what I'm worried about. Most of the times when there has been a Dodrio in the Indian region, I mean, even in certain times the international regions as well, it has fared better for that team who have got a chance to win that game at least. So I think Omen on this Dodrio is going to be faring really, really well. And the Pokemon which is also allowed right now, Urshifu, that being picked up from Scepter, this is going to be very interesting. Ego on the other end, he says if Scepter picks it up, I'm going to also come on with another all-rounder, and he picks up a Serena. This is interesting. Two heavy bashers here, Ocean. Urshifu and Serena going head to head, Azumarill and Sizer going head to head. I'm very interested. But one thing that True Rippers have something to change is the Mew. The long range attacker that they have with the Solar Beam might just affect them if Divine doesn't work really well on the Mamoswine, but I don't have doubts on him as well, because him on the Mamoswine is just really good. Him as a supporter or a defender, Divine plays amazingly.
Divine has the capability, right? We have seen that capability coming up from him on that LAN event as well. We know that he just does not come around under any pressure. And so, talking about it, everyone's just onto their own base sides, and now they're going to be just looking forward to take up onto their own fights. We'll see what happens as the game definitely commences up right now.
Right now, it looks like on one end to the center, to level up, they've sent Dodrio
Yeah.
on God's Reign in, and True Represent they've sent out the Scyther. Whereas Snorlax right now, using the mid lane, he's passing and wants to annoy, wants to deny that Pokemon who wants to level up, whether it's a speedster or a long range attacker or an all-rounder, from leveling up early. And that's why Omen is having trouble. Speedster is a squishy Pokemon, and that's the reason it needs to be away for like until it evolves, and that's the reason they want to annoy it as much as possible. But now looks like Scepter, he might be eliminated. Thankful for the citrus berries from his opponent's end. He'll be taking it and running away, and the help comes in on the mime as well.
You're just, moving backwards onto his own side, but look at this. Godsrain have a really good hold for themselves. We'll have to see how far they can go right now. Just going off for their own hoops, and everyone just trying to go. But yeah, we see knockouts happening, and this is where Godsrain will have to just, think forward of what they can do. All right.
But right now, as we get back in terms of who's going to be changing the tides, Ocean, fairly in the early stages, knockouts are okay because Pokemons respawn from the base, get back into the fight. Exactly. But looking at the positioning, we saw a top lane 3-man play coming in from True Rippers, but which has eventually switched over, understanding at the bottom there's been a heavy attack from God's Reign, and the Scyther has started moving from the top to the bottom lane through the mid lane. He did find the Dodrio, wanted to punish it, but understanding the God's Reign Dodrio is back into their own mid lane towards the bases, trying to farm. He's also back doing the same thing, making sure that the Scyther is leveled up and ready to wing beat or maybe come out with the bullet punches. We'll wait for that. But right now, Noxy, he might just have some trouble if he decides to take this fight against Daksh. But Daksh, understanding that he's closer to his goal zone, will also retreat. So no KO on the bottom lane for now.
I mean, Noxy just survived that one by the whiskers, if not anything. Otherwise, it would have been good for Daksh. He would have just taken that up for himself. But as of now, goals were happening. But now there's a heavy hitting fight coming up between Godsrain and True Rippers, as we can just see onto the bottom lane. And this bottom lane, it's going to be populated, overpopulated. But this is where Snorlax is once again going for it, and the knockouts are happening.
Ooh, brilliant swoop in from Kyo to eliminate and take out a player. And right now it is cost trouble. The same thing that we saw God's Reign doing on the top 3-man push, scoring goals, the same thing is being done from True Rippers on the bottom. Right now nobody has destroyed each other's goal zones, but looking at True Rippers, they might be the first ones to destroy the goal zone of God's Reign, because there's just 9 more goals that they need to put on, 9 more AOS energy that is left. But before that, again, people are leveling up. Looks like who wanted to go for a steal from True Rippers and will unable to do it at the bottom lane, as immediately 3 people swoop in from God's Reign. So God's Reign, they're trying to regain control on the bottom lane, but right now in less than a second we are going to be seeing the Reggie on the top and the bottom being formed, and we'll see where the fight goes on. It looks like it should be the bottom lane fight as we start things off.
I mean, it's going to be definitely bottom lane fight only. As of now, Omen just was trying to put pressure on Ego. Ego just wants to stay away from any trouble, any harm's way, which definitely makes sense. But this is the bottom lane where we see everyone just moving against us. Deviation, every player of True Rippers is going to be there only. And alright, that's a good knockout coming up from Scyther. But situations, True Rippers, well, they better be careful. I believe Godsrain has something cooking up for them.
True Rippers getting that Registeel give them a little bit of a buff and their attack boost, but they didn't capitalize on it. But once they understood that all their players are together, they're making a 4-man push. And look at this, the Pillow Swine, which is not yet evolved with the block. Divine was pushed out, but not for too long. He gets back in and barely survives, thankful to his Urshifu coming through. But True Rippers are still successful to destroy the first goal zone and still not taking the lead. You can see the goal difference is just right now 15, and God's Reign are the ones who have the lead for now. But True Rippers, at least they'll be happy that they destroyed a goal zone. Now the battle will change to the top lane, where we can see the Reggie Aliki still being there, as True Rippers switching from the bottom lane after destroying the goal zone. They're scoring goals on the top, and I think they will destroy that as well. And finally, True Rippers take away the lead.
True Rippers wanted this, and they got this for themselves. 5 minutes still on the clock, 5.5, and that means they can just move forward again and again as the KOs are happening again and again. This is looking good. But so far, we'll have to see if this is what God's Reign can come out of or not, as God's Reign is playing on a slower side right now. True Rippers again moving forward, pushing them around. And I don't think so they wanted this, as True Rippers is taking things apart.
I mean, God's Reign are known for a team to be scoring a lot rather than being very aggressive, which is being seen here. But on the other end, True Rippers are so aggressive that they're delivering KO after a KO. A big Unite comes from the Queen herself. A 2 KO streak along with the Regielike pushing on the top lane. They're here to destroy the second goal zone as well. With 9 more AOS energy that they have to put through, I think that goal zone will also be destroyed. Yes, the second one also being destroyed. To a 300 score coming in from True Rippers. Looking unstoppable. The way they're switching lanes, the way they're pushing together to fight. Whether it's a 5-man fight or a 4-man fight, the success is always True Rippers, Ocean.
They definitely are getting that success for themselves, and as we just talk about it, God's Reign is kind of in the hinge of the battle, but now True Rippers, they want to get more and more knockouts, which is looking pretty good for themselves. Daksh is moving forward as well. Registeel, I believe they can just destroy this one as well, and that is going to be giving up them good boost again. But God's Reign, this just, showcases on their own mentality that what's happening is wrong for them.
It might, but right now one thing I'm worried for True Rippers is they're destroying so many goal zones. Now when the Rayquaza is about to spawn in another 2 minutes, they might just have problem if God's Reign steal it away. God's Reign will have more bases to score, more zones to score, and then True Rippers, even though they have the lead right now, it'll all be broken down into pieces and destroyed as their hopes. And this is a best of 3. Like a best of 5, they don't have a lot of chances, so they need to make sure they don't give away the chances. Daksh right now was hiding in the tall grasses for now. He gives their team an idea of where the players are moving in from and denying them from getting the goal scored in. On the top, a goal zone has been destroyed, so they do not want that happening on the bottom as well. Omen, look at him, he barely survives, thankful to his teammates, but Divine, he's pushed into the flux of their opponents and I don't think he'll be able to survive. He's trying his best to at least find 1 KO, but he himself gets knocked out, and on the other end, Sarina also finds 1 knockout for herself. But in the meantime, Omen, he's quick, he wants to take this Regielike away and take the tide in the favor of God's Reign rather than True Rippers, but True Rippers are reading into it. They're all running to the top lane.
They know it, how important it is for them. Omen, he just, barely survived a couple of seconds back, went to his own base, and that was the wrong thing. But look at this. This is looking good. Right now, True Rippers is coming back onto the mid side. We'll have to see what can happen. Oh my god, God's Reign.
Nothing is working.
Exactly. It's something that's just playing. It's a maze in the mind. Whatever they're trying, it's just not happening for them.
They're just stuck in, especially their side of the half. They're unable to even get closer to the bases of True Rippers, unable to get closer to the goal zones. Even if they're getting there, a player gets isolated and God's Reign lose a player, and everybody else have to retreat. It's just becoming too tough. And look at what True Rippers are doing, understanding that there's just a 20-second gap between the Rayquaza and the bottom boss Pokemon. They're like, we'll take Registeel very quickly, get that advantage for ourselves and the attack buff that we'll get because of it, and immediately jump for Rayquaza even before God's Reign getting an advantage. And understanding how important this is, God's Reign jump and swoop into the fight, take away the Registeel for themselves, get that attacking buff for themselves, and they're moving away. This might be the small last ray of hope that they needed. Can they make it happen? Rayquaza is here. This is the final stretch.
Rayquaza is here, and this is what they needed. Now they'll have to just take down all the points that they can for themselves as God's Reign is slowly and steadily moving forward. A couple of Pokemons just onto the base, back again. Devesh moving forward from True Rippers. We'll have to see if True Rippers has an answer for them. The point difference is still not a lot. I mean, we have seen comebacks happening right now as Daksh is moving forward, just coming up with his own attacks, but we'll have to see what happens as God's Reign. They are trying to do everything. This time Daksh was isolated, but no, he just comes back with his own teammates as he would want to stay there, and he will feel safe alongside the tall grass as well. But God's Reign, what can they do in 1 minute 20 seconds? We'll have to see.
Not a lot of time here, Ocean. Clock's ticking. They need to do something. Daksh, he's not overextending, and also he's giving calls to his teammates, telling where he's going, because of which, even though he's losing HP, his teammates are there to cover him up. Comes in with a slam again, and look at this. The Mamoswine was isolated and comes in with a big Unite. He goes in for a sleep, and now Mamoswine is super low. Divine, he's trying his best, but he gets knocked out. A brilliant way to work it out. The defender is down. The man who could have taken a lot of damage is gone, and with less than 50 seconds to go here, God's Reign, the ability to get back in the game is looking tough, but Omen is making it possible. He goes in, gets scores done, making use of the advantage, and same goes for True Rippers. Understanding that there is no Rayquaza chance here, let's just swoop in, get goals dunked and scored. They increase the lead, making sure that God's Reign, who are catching up, they have a big difference to catch up to. We are at 413, whereas 333. The only way that they can catch up to is a big 100, but before that big 100 can come in, a big 62 gets scored, and the score gets just pushed further, Ocean.
God's Reign just thought they touched the victory. They thought they were close, but then again, True Rippers, They were taking things for themselves, ripping up the numbers, and this looks pretty good for them. True Rippers is going to be really, really happy as they are starting up on a good note for themselves. Omen just comes in, but all in vain. Oh, what a game.
Big one. Man, oh man, Ocean. What a commanding game coming in from True Rippers. 713, even not even touching Rayquaza. They were just denying God's Reign to get closer to that legendary pit. That's all that they did. What a play. Look at Daksh. 11 assists coming in from his end. And Kyo and I would say Ego. Both of them were insane on these all-rounders. Ego on this arena, whenever he was alone, individual, he had a 1v1 fight. He was always winning that. Kyo, he was always having assistance from his teammates coming through. And safe. Kudos to him. I would say always playing that recovery, right? That healer worked out really, really well for them. But I want to give credits to one man who was kind of maybe not seen a lot. No, Omen tried his best from God's Reign, but Devesh, he was so annoying on that Mew, making the best use of the long range, the solar beam coming through. Whenever somebody tried to swoop in closer, they were immediately denied, drained of HP, and they had to move away.
You know, I thought you were talking about the credit of one person. That's going to be Omen. I thought Omen because from God's Reign, he did the massive amount of work, like taking up Dodrio, being in all the battles, all alongside himself. He knew sometimes he was just isolated. His teammates were not even close to him, but still he tried to be there. Then quickly just escaping to his own base, own area, and then trying to do everything. But still, at the last final few seconds, it was God's Reign that just got that lost for themselves. But True Rippers, they knew it that God's Reign was closer to them. So they decided to just swoop in with the numbers and oh my god, 713.
Yeah. You can see Omen, 100 he scored in the final stretch, understanding that his teammates are not getting closer to Rayquaza and nobody else got a chance. What did True Rippers do? They're like, we'll not fight with Omen. He scored the 100 that he had. For him to get another 50 AOS energy, he has to fight a lot of Pokemon and he needs to knock those wild Pokemons, collect the AOS energy and get back. So what did True Rippers do? They're like, we are all 5 are still alive. Let's all 5 of us push. And you can see 94, 70, 86, 52, 24, 26. All the 5 Pokemons pushed and just decided to score. They're like, forget about Omen. Forget about that one solo scorer. Let's all become scorers.
They showcase how this is a team game, right? That was really, really good. For God's Reign, what they needed was they wanted to just keep the composure to themselves. They tried. You talked about this, right? God's Reign is a scoring team. They don't go for the aggression. They like to score. But True Rippers already had an answer. You'll see, this was one time alongside the 6-minute marker, like when like the 4-minute marker, if you just say, when God's Reign had that upper advantage. But after that, True Rippers, they never lost each other's back. They got each other's back. They were together whenever the fights were happening. They were together whenever they were just trying to destroy the goals or anything. And that just showcased how True Rippers are playing. What's their mentality? That is definitely the showcasing out here.
Yeah, there was no big strategies or something coming in where they wanted to play sneakily. They wanted to go and jump for ambush or something. They're like, we are a team. Let's play as a team. We fight together. We live together. We survive together. We goal together. That's all they did. With the last ray of, you saw the Registeel fight coming through God's Reign, but immediately that Registeel advantage was denied. True Rippers immediately fought against them. So, unfortunate for them. Tried their best here, Ocean. But again, it's the first game. It happens, right? They are the India champions. So for them, they'll be like, first game jitters, which even happened on the land. So I'll give them that benefit of the doubt. But this is the best of 3, Ocean. They have to be worried about that. This is the best of 3. If you lose now, you lose it all.
I mean, you're talking about this is the best of 3, right? What I believe is, yes, it is. But if God's Reign needs to make a comeback, it's going to be this match only. Otherwise, if it's not a comeback game for them, it just ends, right? 2-0 means best of 3. So that's going to be the thing for me. But we'll definitely see and understand if God's Reign is going to be just keeping up that composure for themselves. Because 1-0 is what the headline reads right now. And this headline is not something that God's Reign is enjoying. All the True Rippers, well, they're having a blast for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, anything and everything that they wanted to do worked out. They didn't have to be worried about, wait, are we getting knocked out? Is our teammate facing difficulty? No, at all times, I think the communication was so efficient that whenever somebody was going for an attack or a move or wanted to try and initiate a fight, they were always on, I would say, playing together, as you said, covering each other's back. They knew what was happening, especially Daksh, right? He was acting
Yeah.
as that initiator. He was jumping in, causing trouble, going in with the heavy slam, then immediately coming in with the block, trying to squish somebody to the wall where they can immediately knock him out. I mean, we did not see a lot of wall blocks coming through as a knockout, because throughout the initial, I would stage India Open that we saw, where a lot of teams showed us what can be bested on Snorlax. Here, everybody has figured out that counter. Now, that counter is just not enough. With the bans coming in, it was not like enough. I don't know, the Sableye ban coming in from Godsend, it looked like it didn't affect even the slightest for True Rippers. They had the Eldegoss, which has worked super efficiently for every team in terms of a healer, and it did the job. True Rippers got this first victory.
They definitely did. They definitely did it. But now we have to see what happens in the other 10 minutes as well. That's going to be just changing. Will it change the pace of the game, or will it keep the tides just in the favor of True Rippers only? Once again, just reminding everyone, we saw 4 teams in that LAN event, right? True Rippers was not there. Now we see what True Rippers is capable of again for the starters. But let's see what happens in this time and what are the bans.
I hope they don't do a Sableye ban this time. They go better, and maybe a Mew ban, because Devesh, he was annoying on that Mew. 7 seconds to go, but if you want to ban something for True Rippers, what do you think? Is it the Sizer? Is it the Serena?
Oh, definitely. No, definitely Sizer. It's an S tier, you know it, right? It's one of the highest tiers coming up for the Pokemon right now. Sizer is something that I would want to ban, because in the last game as well, we saw MVP. Sizer only. Oh no.
Again?
Sableye again?
Okay, I'm not too sure. I mean, I know what Sableye can do as an individual Pokemon, but as a team of how True Rippers are playing, I don't feel like Sableye even is needed for them. But True Rippers are like, okay, let's just give them a change here in the second game. They come up with none other than a Blissey. I'm looking forward to how it works out. And on the other end, what God's Reign are going to be picking up, because Eldegoss has been banned from True Rippers end. I'm not too sure. I think maybe True Rippers thought that, okay, Safe himself said, I've shown them a lot what I can do, so let's not give them a chance to pick up that Eldegoss and give that healing opportunity for the players of God's Reign. They ban that so that God's Reign cannot have a chance to pick it up. Scepter, in this time, he comes up with a Mew of his own.
And Vixen, if we just talk about it, he also has a pretty good pick for himself. Hoopa coming up. We'll see what he is capable of in this one. Slowly and steadily, we'll have to see. Azumarill once again picked by God's Reign Divine, as we just talk about it. Omen, alright, I thought he was going to change it, but nope, the change is not coming up. Omen just locking it up on Aegislash, which is pretty good. But Kaio, that's the thing. Sizer is here. True Rippers, they are confident. Once again confident than before, and I might think this might just go a 2-0.
Yeah, especially with Ego, understanding he has a Tyranitar pick, and then a Pikachu and a Ninetales. Oh my god, True Rippers are going all out. Heavy bashes coming in. Devesh will come with his Ninetales, slow them down with his Aurora Wall, as well as I would say Icicle Spear or something. I forgot. I'll look into that. But on the other end, Noxie. Ooh, I'm interested. He comes up with a Zerora. I've missed Zerora throughout the entire, I would say, Unite that I've seen, as well as Hoopa, who was there in the early when the remote stadium was there. Hoopa was like a default supporter that everybody picked, but now again, I've questioned any time that Hoopa has come in. But here's one thing I'll tell you, Ocean. Whenever God's Reign have picked up Hoopa, that is to change the tide of the game, and I'm looking forward to what God's Reign are looking forward to doing here.
Oh my god, this is a different league now, I'm telling you. This is a different league, a different scenario. If anything, we'll have to just see and understand what can happen. But True Rippers versus God's Reign, this might just be a 2-0 game. This might not. We'll see as the game just commenced right in front of our eyes.
Man, I'm worried right now for Ninetales. Now, it puts up an avalanche, and then we end up seeing the Thundershot, Thunderbolt, or even the Thunderball coming through. It's going to cause a lot of troubles for God's Reign. They will be stunned, they will be unable to move. A lot of things to be worried about. But God's Reign, they also have a Zerora. Previously, we saw God's Reign coming on with the Dodrio as a speedster. This time, they have a Zerora. I want to see them doing some kind of magic with a Zerora if possible. I know it's too much to ask, but Ocean, we did see previously where they tried with the Dodrio to level up. You saw Snorlax, Daksh, right? He went right into their mid lane, and denied them from leveling up, denied them from gaining experience on that wild Pokemon. He jumped in, swooped in, defeated Acelagor and Excavalier, because of which did not get that boosts.
Yeah, that is true right now. But none of the situations, true rippers. Exactly. I mean, that there is. But let's talk about the scenarios, right? I want to know from you, because you were doing the remote scenario previously as well. True Rippers and God's Reign. I want to ask this question from you. What do you think they are doing different as compared to the previous times when they were playing? Not against each other, overall though, but what do you think True Rippers is doing different, if you have taken a hint of it or not?
True Rippers, one thing that they're doing different is previously they wanted to stun them or slow them down with the heavy slam coming through on Daksh, on the Snorlax, but this time they have an entire Pokemon which has better range, which is none other than Ninetales, and on top of that they have Pikachu as well, so the Thunder Shocks are going to be coming in, whether it's a Thunderbolt or a Thunderball, it's going to drain a lot of HP. So just imagine, two attackers initiate with doing little damage in terms of HP, and then your all-rounder swoop in who do heavy bashing damage. They have a Tyranitar as well as a Scyther coming in. Huge.
That is correct. But my question was from the previous India national final scenario, from that time to this time, what do you think they're doing different? Yeah, exactly.
True Rippers, my bad then. Yeah. True Rippers, we've not seen them in the India Open because they got eliminated very early on. They had a tough scenario, but God's Reign, looking at them, as I said, right, bringing in this Hoopa, this gives me the heebie-jeebies, where I've seen them, they pick Hoopa and then they change the tide of the game, they change the outcome, they change the thought of what True Rippers wanted to do to True Rippers, figuring out why is this Hoopa pick there. Now you understand, right? This becomes a reactive approach. Why is there a Hoopa? Hoopa is something, as a supporter, does not find a way to do a lot of damage, Ocean, because Hoopa is like helping teammates out to jump, putting out that teleportation hyperspace holes, and they just make use of it to go to the top or the bottom. So I think bringing out that Hoopa is going to be very interesting, and again, Hoopa with the Unite is going to be very dangerous whenever it happens. So I think God's Reign will incline to that, and also this time try to do damage and bash. But we have also an update from our production team that there has been a little glitch coming in for the God's Reign team, so we will see what they fix, because again, when the Hoopa was there, right, it was on Vixen is their all-rounder, and that's what I was worried. I thought maybe versatile player. That was the thing.
Vixen is the one who had that glitch coming up on picking that Pokemon. So I believe definitely is going to change something, and we're going to be restarting up with this match really soon when we just talk about it. But oh my god, for a while we were definitely taken aback for a lot of things. Technically coming up from True Ripper's side as well, when we talk about the Ninetales and Pikachu pick coming up, right? That combo is going to be a really good one. So had this match had started right now, I believe the magic would have already happened, trust me.
I agree, right? I mean, I understand Pikachu and Ninetales would have been squishy, but True Rippers, we just saw them, how well they played, how well they had each other's back, and then Mew was there. They knew at what position their player had to play so that he wouldn't have been squished or targeted upon. So they know that distance where they have to run away from the players. On the other end, where God's Reign just now had one glitch, Vixen, I mean, I thought, as we were talking about it, right, the Hoopa coming in, yes, it's a game changer, but Vixen picking it, I was a little bit like, wait, Vixen doesn't play this. Vixen is most of an all-rounder. So I was like worried. So eventually when we correct that glitch, but I want to understand, do you think there is a chance to eliminate this, I would say, heavy force or a brute force coming in from True Rippers with two all-rounders, two attackers, and then one supporter as well? So they have heal going. They have damage doing Pokemons, both in terms of range as well as all-rounders.
Exactly.
Do you think there is a chance that God's Reign can swoop in and find a loophole?
Minor chance, if anything. Right now, with the let's talk about 2-3 things. Right, first thing is mentality. With the mentality that True Rippers is playing, with the mentality that they've had the first game for themselves, I don't think so. They're going to be, there's going to be any force that's going to be stopping them. That's going to be the first thing. Second thing is going to be the understanding of the game. Obviously, God's Reign has a brilliant understanding of the game. Maybe sticking together, just coming down, stunning their opponents, and then obviously just knocking them out. That can be one of the things. We saw what happened in the first game as well. With respect to, let's turn it up a bit. Let's talk about God's Reign, right? In the first game, when Dodrio was all alone, there was no help, right? No one from God's Reign was coming up to help that player, right, who was playing Dodrio. So that was one of the things. You did not have any, exactly, Omen, you did not have any backup to support you. True Rippers' best thing was they had the backups for themselves. Whenever someone was getting attacked, if you talk about Snorlax or anyone, they had a backup, a proper backup that was just, helping them out to play it all around. If God's Reign can isolate True Rippers' players in this one game, then definitely it can happen. But coming down from the range attacks, I think this will still be a big, big question. Maybe a big no. I don't know. But obviously, time is the best teacher, so time will tell.
Exactly, I agree with you. There is a situation where they have to separate. They have to literally pick players from True Rippers and move them in different directions. Because True Rippers, you did see them in the first game, that even if they were taking individual fights, they were taking closer to their goal zones where they knew there was a citrus berry, or there was a chance that they could immediately heal themselves up, gain a little HP, and immediately answer back. So at all times, they either got their backs covered with their teammates, or at least their lanes. So I feel like if God's Reign do not find a way to figure out to pick these players, separate these players, and then eliminate them one after another, knock them out, it's going to be very difficult. And also, we've seen, right, how well Daksh was doing in terms of using his block, pushing players off either closer to his teammates or just pushing them away. They're like, you have no rights to be here around the legendary pit, or maybe even in the mid lane, or even in the bot lane. Just run away from here. Whether they were going in for the Regieleki on the top or the Registeel at the bottom, even the bosses were getting denied. That's how True Rippers played. There's like, what do we have to do? Fight as a team. I think these two crucial things that they understood, that fight is going to be super crucial of what fights you pick, and play as a team, worked out very well for True Rippers. But on the other end, you saw, right, as we did talk about God's Reign, who concentrate more on scoring, leveling up, and getting a lot of goals done, and also trying to get Rayquaza. That thought process was there from God's Reign, but it was not there to execute. That, I would say, last seal the deal was denied.
Exactly, it was definitely denied, and we saw that was, see, when Rayquaza appears, that is the only time either you can just gain all the points or you can lose it all. God's Reign tried, they started, but they could not gain anything, just the experience from all this one. But True Rippers is something that made them lose it all. There was, just before that, there was a time when God's Reign was just at around 333 points, and obviously they were at 339. So it was almost by the hinges. They almost just got them by the collar, but then True Rippers had some different plans for the first game. But now definitely we'll have to see and understand what can happen in the second game, obviously, which is going to be starting up really, really soon. Once it starts, my only question is going to be, and I believe everyone's question is going to be, is it a 2-0 or is it a 1-1?
Yeah.
Once again, only we'll see.
Exactly. This is going to be kind of a heavy blow if it happens, Ocean, as a 2-0, because God's Reign, this is their first match after becoming India champions. On the other end, True Rippers, they were nowhere seen in the entire grand finals of Pokemon UNITE India Open, right? So that's something that I'm worried for them in the India region. But again, this is the league stage, so God's Reign can still make a comeback. It might give them a hit in the ranking. They might lose out on coming out on the second or the third, but I feel like they can still be okay with it, because we have seen God's Reign getting back into the game, and when they get back into the game, they are beasts unchained.
I still remember that moment, right, when you were casting and I was just out there right next to God's Reign's players, and obviously they were just the players and the crowd of God's Reign support. They were just sitting out there, and they knew it, that the match is coming onto them. They just wavered the flag of the team right in front of everyone, and that became the moment, the highlight reel, I believe.
Exactly.
That was just one of the finest things, and the enthusiasm, the cheers that were coming up on God's Reign, because that day, first thing, they lost the match. They lost their first match, right? They went down to the lower bracket finals, won that lower bracket finals. They were behind 2-0, went down to 3-2, then came to the grand finals, lost the first grand final match, then won the second match, then lost the third match, lost the fourth match, then came down and won it. Till the last breath, they just fought to take down everything for themselves. The bragging rights, coming down on the LAN event, getting that trophy picked up, that lifting up of that trophy, every single inch of hard work was coming up for them. So that was the courage, right, that they became a part of. Right now, I believe they can do it again, but if they want to do it at this moment, they need both of these games.
Yes, they need it. They need to find that same comeback to get back into a scenario where they feel themselves inside the game. But I feel like the one thing that is working here for True Rippers Ocean is that they got a chance to sit back and watch how all these teams played when they fought out in the LAN. I think that is something that True Rippers did, is good efficient board work, good efficient study of understanding the individual player, of how that player likes to play, of what kind of a Pokemon they like to play, and how do we have to break them apart. And I feel like that's what it looks very separated. It looks like broken into pieces play coming in from God's Reign. It looks like the puzzle is just all over the board. They have to find a way, pick the pieces and connect them, connect the dots, and that's when God's Reign will get back into the game. And that True Rippers can never expect. They will be unsure of what happens, but when it hits them, it'll hit them on the hindsight. And True Rippers, wait, we were on the lead, what just happened? You mentioned, right, that lead which looked so big. God's Reign swooped in, Omen came in, helped them out. He got them so close that the difference was just only 15 goals. If True Rippers did not think through and did not decide to go and score goals themselves, rather if they thought we'll try to fight Omen out, there could have been a scenario that God's Reign could have actually gotten this first game victory. So that's the reason I feel like True Rippers having that read for now is looking good. But with the small breaks in that we have gotten, these technical glitches, God's Reign could have gotten an idea to talk in between themselves to get better. And I feel like Ocean, we might be up for something, a curveball that True Rippers might not expect.
Maybe. Again, maybe. See, hope is a dangerous thing, but hope is all we have, right? So maybe let's hope for this one that God's Reign might just throw up a curveball, and we'll have to see if True Rippers is ready for it. What if True Rippers catches that curveball? What if they catch that bluff? What if they call that bluff, and what if they play it in the way they want to play it? What if they had done their homework? What if this is the day of True Rippers, right? So we'll have to see. We'll have to understand. Definitely, we are looking forward to what's going to be happening, as the match is definitely going to be on our way really shortly. And with that, I believe we'll see what the storyline is going to be.
Yeah, we have a confirmation from our production as well that the ban and the first two picks from both the teams is going to be same, and then later on the third pick where we had the initial glitch with Vixen is where the things will be a change again. And I'm pretty sure all the people who are rooting for God's Reign who saw Vixen picking up a hookah, they'll be like, what is this new? Vixen trying something new, this is surprising. But they will also maybe excited because they don't know what's happening, right? Because it all happened in the back lanes and this is happening online for now. So God's Reign for now, they'll be like, okay, this happened, we'll rework on that, get back into the game.
What if
again,
what if it was just a prank scenario coming up from God's Reign side to just prank up their opponents and everyone else? But now they're going to be playing a real game. Like, that's what I'm saying,
yeah. Vixen is one guy that I've seen, he's very concentrated. So I feel like he doesn't get thrown by any kind of these pranks or whatever. So if he's like, I want to do this, I will do this. So he's literally like an iron pillar, or he's a very steady guy. Now we'll jump in and go to the draft pick, as we are going to be seeing bans are same, nothing to be worried about. We are going to be seeing the Sableye as well as the Eldegoss ban coming in. But in terms of Vixen, I want to see what pick he makes of choice. What do you think? Is he going to come back on a Sizer or himself, just like we saw coming in from the True Ripper side?
I would love to see that happening. Obviously, the bans are same, the first two picks are the same, and then we'll see what's going to be happening. These are the picks that happened already. We can see Sap just picking up. This has happened already. Once again, just reminding everyone that Blissey was picked already. Vixen coming up with his own Azumarill. That is here. Omen with that Sizer, cool. But Divine, Noxie, Scepter, this is what I want to see. Alright, Scepter picks up his own Mew. Looks good.
Yeah, no changes on the first two picks coming through. Ego also, he's going to be going on none other than Tyranitar, going on Kyo as well, who's going to be coming on the Sizer. Finally, this is where we are going to be seeing the change. Vixen, you see right now, on top itself, he's like, Azumarill is what I wanted. Whatever happened with the Hoopa shenanigan, that's not something that I had to do with. It just happened. Divine, he comes back again with none other than Mamoswine. I really like Divine's mime. I'm not too sure why God's Reign are not bringing it up, and I've also said this. Divine is one of the finest mime players that I've seen so far. He's just so very well as a supporter for his teammates. As you said, right, being there for the team, covering the backs, Divine does that. But here, it looks like he's still stuck on none other than Mamoswine, and Omen as well. He's stuck on Oh, a Dodrio. And then talking about the
Oh,
Pikachu and Ninetales, that is not going to be there. True Rippers, I was so excited to see Pikachu and Ninetales. But they come in with a Snorlax, but they do have a Cramorant, so I'm still excited.
yeah. Cramorant is what I want to see as well. They was just using it up for himself. So True Rippers has also changed a few things out of their book. Now they're playing by a different book. But on the other side, God's Reign, they have what they wanted. Omen was looking really confident with Dodrio in
Yeah.
the first match as well. He knows he's going to be doing that as well. This now, I believe, it's just me only. This is God's Reign supportive. I don't know. I believe this is going to be a 1-1. I believe it so.
I still don't feel it because Daksh is back on the Snorlax. He's going to be annoying. Now, Devesh might not be on the Mew. His long range solar beam might not be there to annoy, but Cramorant has his fishes to throw right at the faces of the
Yeah.
players of God's Reign,
Yeah.
which is still going to be annoying, Ocean.
I don't know. We'll see though as we just start off with everything as we just talking about it. True Rippers versus God's Reign. This might just be the decider as True Rippers might just go for a second one. Omen from God's Reign side once again just moving forward alongside Scepter. And now everyone's just gonna start up. We see a couple of actions just happening around onto the bottom lane side as now Daksh is moving forward. But first goal. Alright, here we start. God's Reign coming up.
Yeah, they get the first one. Vixen, he's the one who's going to be starting off on the mural for now. And he's trying to run back. Divine helping out on none other than the Swinub. He's going to try and take damage also. On the other end, it's the Larvitar on Ego. He's not a fully evolved Tyranitar, so nothing to be worried for him for now. Safe on the other end will be helping out, making sure he gets the right heal because Tyranitar, we have seen that a lot of the teams have figured out a counter where they do a lot of damage to Tyranitar, immediately knock it out. And then there is a situation where Tyranitar just gets denied. But what is Daksh doing? He's trying to save himself, wanted to swoop in, eat up the citrus berry. It was not enough. Omen will finally punish him, and from the Dodio, he's at the Dodrio right now. And also on level 5. This time I'm pretty sure Godzilla are going to be concentrating on their levels as well. Previously, they were a little bit lower compared to the players of True Rippers, and now you can see how much damage Godzilla are able to do. Not at a complete knockout on more players other than Daksh, but damage is just very good.
On the other side, Cramorant and obviously Sizer are level 5, we just talk about it. But Vixen just taking his own numbers for himself. Noxie just gonna be onto the backside with that mime. Daksh is trying to create the trouble slowly and steadily. As we are on a sloth phase for the game right now. It's on a slower side, the game, as everyone's just trying to go for it. But Scepter, alright, Daksh and Scepter, this is gonna be a good one. Trying to go for it. But once again, Daksh is going to be trying to reach away from the harm's way, but I believe wherever he's going, he might just find trouble. But no, Devesh is out there to counter everything for himself and the team. Oh, no.
Watching the backs, you saw that Scepter with the Mew. He helped out Omen, otherwise Omen could have been knocked out. Understanding he's a speedster, he could have been squished with the heavy slam coming through. Gets a chance to run away, and Vixen immediately swoops in along with Divine. And look at that, Omen, he's back in closer to his goal zones, will get the citrus berry for himself, again back to farming and leveling up. And you can see he's at level 8 already with the experience that he's just gaining, and he's looking unstoppable. He's running at all positions, top, bottom, mid lane. He's at all positions, making sure he levels up way better compared to the players of True Rippers. And oh, he finds a big KO. This is huge because that's a Blissey which is down here, Ocean.
This is MVP play, I'm telling you. Dodrio is the MVP already for me. Omen is the MVP already for me, just coming up. And now this is where God's Reign is picking up numbers. They are going for the schools. They are trying to get those numbers for themselves. God's Reign, this is what we wanted to see from their side. And just as we talked about it, well, God's Reign is looking unstoppable. And now there's no coming back. This game, although it's still a bit early to say, but I believe again and again, this is God's Reign's game, if anything.
Oh yes, they're looking so comfortable. They're like, oh, True Rippers, are you the only team who knows to play as a team? We'll show you what we can do. And look at this, quickly, just like True Rippers jumped on the bottom lane to fight with the Reggie, God's Reign are already doing that. They'll get the Reggie eyes for themselves. Devesh as well as Daksh wanted to steal it away, coming in with either a dive or maybe a heavy slam. But what happens is that Cramorant will be KO'd. Daksh wants to try and stop, but there are 4 players. How will you stop 4 raining forces coming towards your end? And again, another goal zone gets destroyed. 188, God's Reign This is just 4 minutes of the game and Ocean. They're looking unstoppable, safe. He might be KO'd again and he's trying to survive. There are citrus berries, but he's in the flux zone. No way to get there. Another KO comes in. The Scyther is down from True Rippers. God's Reign looking unstoppable. We have a level 10 Dodrio already, whereas nobody is at double digits for True Rippers.
No one is at double digit at
A
all.
melt on
But it's
Regieleki.
just Dodrio. Oh my god, God's Reign, unstoppable. Nothing can compare as to this one. I believe no one's going to be doing anything. Ego is going to be just picked apart as well. Daksh is going to be on the low lines as well. He cannot do anything as Noxy is just trying to go for it. He went for his own heavy drop, but he will be KO'd. Oh no, slowly and steadily low. Trying to reach away from the arms way, but he goes for the KO this time. Cramorant is doing pretty good, but it's still not enough. 5 minutes on the clock still, but they are trying to do everything. Dux is taking damage on for himself, but his team is together as well. True Rippers, what can they bring onto the table? We'll have to see.
Man, this was a savior of a fight. True Rippers, if not for Vixen, right, getting KO'd over there on that Azumarill. I don't know what happened. He was very low and he jumped in. He swooped right into the bases where many of the players of True Rippers were there, and that's the reason we saw God's Reign losing control of the top lane. But for now, look at the goal difference. 188 to 25. Nowhere even closer to a century is True Rippers. Full on command for God's Reign for now. Safe again. This is the third time he's been instantly knocked out without the help from his teammates. And we were just talking about it, Ocean, that God's Reign need to find a way to separate the players of True Rippers, and they've crushed them to separate pieces.
246 versus 65, 68 now, but doesn't make any difference. They're still lacking behind True Rippers. They are trying to move forward, but this is going to be a battle. This is going to be a legendary battle. We'll have to see what happens out here, as now Mamoswine is trying to charge in onto everyone, and True Rippers, I believe they have nowhere to just go for now. Ego will try to leave away from the harm's way. They wasted onto the backside as well, but look at that. Look at that. This God's Reign is trying to do everything for themselves, but the chaos are coming up from True Ripper's side as well. We'll have to see though, as God's Reign is trying to answer them with everything that they've got.
Unite coming in from the Dodrio, but look at this, a chase on Vixen. Vixen recovers himself, and Ego has no assistance. If Ego continues this fight, he's the one who's going to be knocked out, but True Rippers on the other end, bottom lane, they are still delivering knockouts. Omen is already out, and that's the advantage they're trying to pick, but right now 3 players swooping in. They've taken down Safe, and Ego has no other recovery chances. He's still able to take down Vixen, but that is just 1 KO. But look at Noxy, plays brilliantly. A 2 knockout streak coming in for him, and he's looking like answering back for God's Reign. He's like, True Rippers, oh, you think that you're back into the game? No, says Noxy, as he's back jumping in, taking individual duels at this point and trying to do damage. Devesh, understanding that he's nowhere close with his attacks, all ranged attacks coming through doing damage, he's trying to level up, he's trying to gain experience, but you can see this card tells you that True Rippers are struggling. They're unable to find a control in this game at all.
Level 13 Dodrio. Well, 13 is unlucky, but it's going to be lucky for him. Oh my god. Just trying to do everything. But now we'll see what happens. As God's Reign once again is going together as a team against True Rippers. But I don't think so. They're going to be just taking up anything as for themselves. This is going to be a God's Reign game. Look at them again trying to do everything for themselves. Just Mamoswine just moving forward. A KO. Again coming up for Cramorant. But they are just unstoppable if anything.
Yeah, a brilliant save on Omen. Omen survives, because of which the top lane fight was super crucial here, Ocean. If they would have lost the top lane control, things would have gone south super fast, and God's Reign would have lost from the advantage that they had. Noxy understanding that if they did not follow through with Regieleki, they might be switching up lanes, and Noxy, brilliant mind read coming in from his end, switches to the bottom lane, sees the players from True Rippers, puts to stop, does not give them a chance to goal, and God's Reign still have control. We are here at the final stage. Rayquaza is here, everybody hiding in the tall grasses, everybody has their unites, they're looking forward to who makes this initial attempt to start off the attack. Everybody towards the bottom lane end, but Vixen, he's playing smart. He understands that there might be True Rippers, who is none other than somebody trying to swoop in, trying to get that goals down in the top lane, hiding and waiting for the opportunity. But True Rippers, they're wasting a lot of time. Again, acting as the initiator, Daksh comes in with a heavy slam, and then with the ancient power coming through, it's going to be Ego thinking of starting off a fight, but every player from God's Reign, they move back. This space themselves. They give themselves a breathing space so that True Rippers let them move in. They are the one on the disadvantage. In the meantime, Omen, he scores 20. He's looking forward to scoring a lot more. Another 20 comes in. I think he did get a 80 scored in coming in. But look at this, True Rippers. They're taking a lot of damage from both the ends, from God's Reign as well as the Rayquaza.
Rayquaza is just around there, and True Rippers, they have nothing, nowhere, no place to go for themselves, and this is where Godzone is getting more and more numbers for themselves. 1 minute, less than 1 minute remaining. Chaos are happening. This time, Sizen just goes for Toe Trio, but we'll have to see what can happen more and more, as Sap and Ego are going to be on one side, but unstoppable streak coming up from Mr. Mime, trying to do everything. But then again, these are the last few 30 seconds, and if something can happen, it's going to be here. Otherwise, True Rippers, well, they might just not see a good score line for themselves. Sap is quite close to Rayquaza, but we'll have to see what can happen for himself as this. Oh my god, oh my god.
Rayquaza is super low. They do get it here, Ocean, but they have just 20 seconds. Everybody just needs to run to the bases. If they're able to get big 100 scored in, there is a chance. And now with Scepter going, a big 100 comes in, 226. If there's another 100, we might just see a 326 coming through, which might just be enough. Ego, what does he do? He does not score. He lets his teammates score first. And what a timing. Both of them get scored. A big brain play coming in from them. They're like, we'll both score together, get both our goals scored in, and they get the scores dunked, and 512. A big brain move from Daksh as well as Devesh. If that, I'm pretty sure if that wouldn't have happened here, there could have been a chance that God's Reign would have won it all. True Rippers.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? True Rippers.
That replay will be worthwhile, Ocean.
Game. What a game. Trust me, Sam. It's gonna be incredible, mind-blowing, fantastic, marvelous, super. Just looking forward to that. But God's Reign, they once again had the collar for themselves. But True Rippers was like, no, not today. Sunday is our day. And they just are gonna be enjoying everything for themselves. The Ego, we talked about his trivia, right? He was confident.
Yeah.
And he was confident to be the last one to score for his team at that last moment. That was the confidence level for him, and Ego just showcased what him and his team is capable of. And what a game.
Devesh and Ego. And Ego, we did talk about it. The Tyranitar needs help coming in on none other than Safe on the Blissey. At all times, you saw how many times Safe was denied. He was always being knocked out, always being taken down, not even given a chance to work with Ego, to cover the back of Ego, to give him the, I would say, heals. But still, Safe did his job. 132,000, you saw how much recovery he did. And Ego used that Ancient and his moveset at the right time, with the Dark Pulse also being there, doing so much damage that at the last Rayquaza fight, the Legendary Pet fight at the mid lane, everybody one after another was being knocked out. And the main reason I feel like God's Reign lost control of it was Omen, who did get a knockout but immediately got taken down from the Scyther from True Rippers. If that did not happen, Ocean, there could have been a chance that God's Reign would have still been in the game. But look at this, the graph entirely favoring God's Reign. There was not even a contest.
It definitely was, but those last, I won't even say 2 minutes or 1 minute or something. I would say last 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Not even 10, 5 seconds. 5 seconds or something, right? They changed every single inch of the game right in the favor of True Rippers, and they have a 2-0 in this decider best of 3. We just talk about it. They decided to win it. This was their decider, but then again, what a game.
What a way to win it. Look at this. That 86 and 100 coming in from Devesh and Ego. Well timed. I mean, there is situations which happens here, Ocean, that one person who has less AOS energies tries to score first and then gets the goals done. If the 100 just reaches, then it'll become difficult for the other person to score. Understanding that problem, what does Ego do? He's like, Devesh, you score first. I'll still have a chance to score because the 100 will not be reached. So he makes Devesh score first, and then he scores for 100 of himself. So irrespective of how much ever is there to break that goal zone, you will still be able to score that 100. And that's the reason True Rippers' big brain play, the last fight they took, their more than half of the health was left when it was 30 seconds left for the end of the game of the second game. But still, True Rippers did not give up. I think that mentality of not giving up, Ocean, gave them the advantage. You can see in this replay, completely under control. God's Reign, KO, Regieliki, Registeel, Regiice, whichever it is, whether it is players of True Rippers, it was always God's Reign delivering the knockouts.
But I mean, you see this, right? This is going to be like in a couple of few more seconds. Definitely, we're going to be seeing what happened exactly, and that,
Yeah.
oh my God, was just more than incredible. Obviously, till this time, everyone was like, "Yeah, Godtrain has that numbers advantage. They have the entire advantage for themselves." And then we see True Rippers, right? They were struggling. They definitely were struggling for themselves. But right after this, we saw the final moments happening, and that was when they just got the game for themselves. Wow. Wow.
I'm like, what did we just witness? How? Oh, I'm so confused, Ocean. Like, Omen, he used his Unite, but that missed. It did not connect anybody. And what does Scyther do coming
Yeah.
in from the side of True Rippers? Immediately delivers a knockout, a blow towards God's Reign players. And when they lost Omen, right? Speedster is known to
Yeah.
do quick damage and run away. They denied that quick damage from happening, and that's the reason that everybody else came together. They were able to isolate the players from God's Reign. You saw Scepter, the last surviving player. He knew he had a long range
Yeah.
attack, Solar Beam. He thought he could try and steal. Even Divine with the Mamoswine was there ready, but acted too soon. Understanding majority of the players have been knocked out from the side of God's Reign, True Rippers went in with all forces that they had, used all the moves on Rayquaza, and got the finishing blow to get that Rayquaza under control, get the
Yeah.
Rayquaza shield, get that advantage, boost 100, scored as they destroy all the goal zones. Brilliant play from True Rippers, unexpected. We thought God's Reign getting back into the groove. Oh yeah, now this is done. True Rippers are lost. But True Rippers to pull that 360 with just like 30 seconds left.
I mean, the legend pulled it 360 only. Like, think about it, right? The points that they
Yeah.
accumulated, it was a 360 only, so they definitely got it for themselves. It was a curveball. We were talking about God's Reigns curveball, right? But I told you,
Yes.
what if True Rippers is ready for that? What if they are having their day of their life, the time of their life, and True Rippers definitely got this for themselves? God's Reign. Now, this
Yeah.
becomes a good mental boost. God's Reign is a team that had a pretty good up for themselves with that LAN win, right? They had that for themselves. They were the India champions, but True Rippers coming in, swooping against the India champions. Oh my God.
Let's jump to the league table, see the damage that has been done. You can see with this True Rippers, they get ranked number 1, and because it is a flawless, they get 3 points on board already, way before anybody. And God's Reign,
Wow.
the team on top, the Indian champions, they have got a tough run right now to start off here in the Asia Champions League, Ocean.
This is definitely looking incredible if you just think about it, right? Obviously, True Rippers, they have that position for themselves. God's Reign, their name was up at the top, but the position so far, as of now, is not. They lost this one 0-2. They lost both the matches that they played out of 3. So that definitely puts them in a pickle of a situation now. But obviously, no, I believe nothing is lost yet. They'll have definitely chances, more and more chances for themselves to do pretty good,
Yeah.
incredible, amazing, mind blowing if we just talk about it. But that's going to be happening on a later day or at a later time, definitely. But right now, True Rippers, well, they are going to be enjoying this day today for themselves, as we definitely will be moving on and looking forward to the upcoming matches. That's where I'm excited about as well. That's what I'm excited about for.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a very interesting second match coming to the day. It is going to be again another best of 3. It can again be an upset for any of the teams, as we see here. Whether you might think, okay, wait, God's Reign lost now. Again, everything is blown out to the open, right? Now you can't say Revenant
Yeah.
might be under control. You might not say SATUL might
Yeah.
have things under control, because Marco Gaming, they were one team. The way they qualified into the, I would say, uh, land stage of the India Open, right? The second stage of the national
Yeah.
playoffs. They provided an upset to none other than God's Reign in similar fashion. Nobody thought that Marcos will have a chance to do that, because God's Reign were having a very flawless and a completely spectacle of a run in their league stage. Marcos swooped in, they delivered this upset, and now with True Rippers also doing the same upset for God's Reign. Revenant did the same upset to God's Reign even in that land stage. So right now, we are at a very interesting stage. I want to know what God's Reign will do, but their matches will not be today. It'll be later down the lane in the next upcoming Sundays. But this, as we said,
Yeah.
right, Ocean, this opens up a whole new horizon, and I'm excited what can happen after this.
This definitely brings up a different perspective of understanding, right? That's what I'm saying. A different
Yes.
thinking, a different thought process of just looking forward to everything. But when we talk about God's reign now, again, the mind just comes back to what they have achieved versus what went down. Maybe they're just trying to
Yeah.
test the waters. Maybe that's the theory for now. They're just trying to test the waters. Nothing is lost. Once again, we know they're going to be a big set of matches. Then top two is where you have to be obviously to move forward. So
Yes.
that is something that they might just be keeping up on their mind, and it's easy and difficult both at the same time. I mean, top two, yeah, they know their capabilities, it's easy for them, but top two, it's difficult because the best teams of India are playing. I mean, you know it, right? So it's both easy and difficult at the
Yeah.
same time. Take it how you want to take it. Glass half full, glass half empty, everything just works out here.
Exactly. I mean, you create your own storyline. We create a
Yeah.
storyline where we are seeing what's happening and what comes to our mind. And right now, in the initial, it's not the best of the starts for one team, but for the other team, as you said, right? It's a half glass full for one team, it's a half glass empty for one team. True Rippers, they might be right now on cloud nine because they've got a clean victory against God's Reign, who are one of the most feared teams of how they play. Now, when we saw God's Reign start off in the second game in this match one, they still look like they completely were a team to be feared because the knockouts coming
Yeah.
through, the way they pushed at the starting 3 minute mark itself, they had gotten the top and the bottom goal zones destroyed. Ocean, both of them were destroyed. That's how fierce the players from God's Reign were in the starting 3 minutes, and I would not even just 3 minutes, until 8 minutes of the game. But we did talk about ego and safe playing
Definitely.
together. That team gameplay worked out really, really well. Play as a team, you win as a team. Happened for True Rippers, but right now we'll be jumping into a break as we'll be seeing another set of teams coming for the second BO3. Take a break, we'll be meeting you on the other side. Welcome back, everyone, to Pokemon Unite Asia Champions League. A brilliant match here in the Indian region to start things off, where we think, right,
Yeah.
Ocean, like, okay, we should have some curveballs, we should have some table turners, we should see some 360s. True rippers. They did bring something new and punch for God's reign. But that was just the first match for the day here, Ocean.
They definitely loved it. The way they played themselves. I mean, and well, themselves as well. I don't think so. They're going to be ready for this one as well, but they were ready for it. And so the way they played the entire competition, that was really good. Coming up and swooping it down 2-0, and not just 2-0. The final 5-second 2-0, that was incredible. Just as we saw that happening, right? But now we have the next match right in front of us. That's going to be Revenant, the fan favorites, versus SATL, the fan favorite. So this is going to be a different one for the fans.
Oh yeah, the fans are going to be going crazy. Revenant having Blizzard, Crowley, Nova, Zishaw and Swifty. On SATL's end, we are going to be seeing Tensai, Prod, Might, Ghoul and Curse. Now, we have seen Crowley, who's been the best of all. I feel like if there is a player out of all the, I would say, in terms of the lineups that we have, the teams that we have, Crowley is one such versatile player. You give him any Pokemon, he does justice to it, and he has that experience. And I want to see how he's going to be making sure the Revenant boys make this entire team as well as him proud.
I mean, Crowley and Swifty, these are the two people that, I always have my eyes
Yeah,
on. Swifty,
Swifty as
again,
well.
just, coming up from the similar background, Crowley and Swifty both knowing each other since years, if we just talk about it, and they have understood each other more than the games or something. Let's talk about Crowley, right? He loves heavy metal, I know it, Venusaur and obviously Ninetales. Heavy metal is his forte, it's my forte, it's our friends' forte. Like, we have all these things in common. And the second thing, the second trivia is, I believe that's his favorite key. That's on the keyboard. That's like just a sign or something. I don't know, but yeah, that's nothing. But he just has one
A
trivia,
hyphen.
and that is he loves heavy metal. Yeah, a hyphen is what that is his favorite keyboard key.
If somebody sends him a message, the reply you're going to get is a hyphen. That you need to understand. He sent you a favorite reply.
Yeah, that is
Again,
you're his
guys.
favorite person.
Yeah, we are just having fun.
Wow.
Don't take it like it's the true thing. But
Yeah.
coming to Tensei's end.
Oh.
Oh.
Nice.
Interesting. Likes to play against strong opponents, and I think this is like every I would say anime kind of factor, right? Everybody likes to have a tough opponent fight so that they get better. So I like this Tensei's mojo, or at least his thought process.
So even if you're losing, you're learning from it, right? That's his learning curve.
Exactly.
If you just think about it. So that is really good. Obviously, his favorite Pokemons you can just see out here. It's going to be Mamoswine and obviously Mr. Mime. So that is good as well. But he likes to drink energy drinks before matches. So I believe he's gulping one as of now as we speak, as the match is about to begin. And we talked about both the sides, Revenant and SATL. We talked about the player trivias as well. Now, definitely, we'll be having a look at the major thing. In a while, though, the picks and the bans, definitely. And I would love to see what bans we see different this time. I mean, in the previous one, we just saw Sableye just being banned back and forth by God's reign for some reason. No one could just, think about it. But now we'll see if there is something different. Because it has to be. There are so many Pokemon. Come on, there has to be something different.
Yeah, my expression whenever I saw Sableye ban. Huh? Wait, hello? Because again, I understand it's a Pokemon which can throw a curveball, a very big one, because it can immediately deep dive into the, I would say, fire hell pitch, where it just disappears. It's like magic, and then immediately can swoop in and attack you back. That's his passive ability, which Sableye has, and everybody is worried about it. But on the other end, True Rippers did not even feel like they wanted something like such a heavy attack favored, or maybe somebody who can pull off a wonder trick or a psychic attack. But right now, with SATL and Revenant, we'll talk about them and their initial bans as we jump into the game one of this match too. What is the ban, Ocean?
Well. Don't ask me, ask them. They're going to be the ones banning. But yeah, we'll see though. We'll see what the bans are. All right, I'll call it one more Sableye ban. I don't know why, I just want it again. just to see your expressions, right? Just to see your expressions. I want to see one Sableye ban as well again, if that can happen. But we'll see though. In 3 seconds, we'll see if there is ban.
Bans?
All right.
We did see how
Alright,
much
this is a
damage
good one.
Urshifu was able to do, but again,
Yeah.
it's not something that is enough. Okay, we've not seen a full-fledged Urshifu play coming through until yet in this India region. We'll be waiting for it, but we did see what Snorlax can do, and we know on Revenant's end also there is a player who can pick up that Snorlax and can do a lot of damage. But Swifty, as we come into the pick phase, he immediately picks up none other than Eldegoss. He plays the support role for his
Eldegoss.
team, and he picks up Eldegoss. On the other end, Tensai, he swoops in with a mammoth of a Mamoswine.
Mamoswine is his pick, and then Azumarill comes up onto the Might side. Let's see if he can bring up that mighty gameplay for himself. If we just talk about it, if we just think about it. But right now we see Sisal coming up as well for Blizzard side. For Revenant, this is C. And Dodrio as well on the Nova side. So I believe this might slightly favor onto Revenant side, but we still have to see the picks coming up from SA2L, and now they are coming up for the fights as Prod gets his own pick. Ghoul gets his own pick, and this is looking really, really good. Cramorant coming up for Ghoul. Prod once again Blissey, so it looks pretty decent.
Crowley is what I was waiting for, and looks like he wants to play Mew. Mew has worked out in the previous game as well that we saw, and we are going to be seeing Mew again in this matchup. It didn't work out for God's Reign, but for Revenant, we've known that Crowley plays it really, really well. And if you want to talk about a speedster, in terms of Dodrio coming in, there are two players who played very, very well. One is Nova and another one is Omen. We saw how best Omen played on Dodrio, got goals scored in, and Nova is going to be a similar thing coming through. But a heavy ranged attacker play coming through from SATL with Cursed on Gardevoir and Ghoul on Cramorant. This is going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to how it works out. Two supporters.
Let's see.
One end for Revenant. On the other end, SATL has a defender and a supporter.
Let's see how this one just pans out for both of these teams. As we start up with Revenant versus S8UL coming up right now. S8UL's players are ready, Revenant's players are ready. I believe the audience is ready as well. Once again, this is going to be the crowd favorite match to just look forward to, win or lose. What happens, how it happens, as we are good to go.
Second match, first game as we roll in. I'm looking forward to who goes into the mid laner right now to level up, gain that experience, and mostly it should be the speedster from Revenant's end. But SATL's end, there are two attackers, and they make sure it's Gardevoir because Gardevoir has Psyshock. That Psyshock is so good of an attack on that long range scenario where you can, alongside it, you can use Psychic, and both of them together, or even Moonblast coming through, put down a Psyshock and then a Psychic or a Moonblast coming through, heavy damage is coming through. So very useful and also very crucial to level Gardevoir, bring it to its final stage and have it in a very good level in terms of double digits, higher than anybody else, Ocean.
Let's see how the situations just turn up in this start of the game. As we see Scyther just leveling up onto level 4. Dodrio as well has a level 4 for himself. Azumarill on the other side is a level 4 if we just talk about it. SATL, they are not entirely focused on an aggressive start. Obviously, everyone wants to just gather as many points as they can, as many goals as they can for themselves. That's what they are looking forward to. But as the time passes, we know things are going to be getting difficult and sometimes tricky as well in this sort of a game.
Yeah, it looks a little bit damaging, but you can see how much damage Psyshock is doing. Therefore, Revenant's player are not treading ahead on the bottom lane. Whereas if you talk about the bottom lane, top lane, they're getting pushed. Revenant are finding chances and opening and push up, and you saw the Blissey immediately went to its own mid lane and wanted to kind of level up over there, and then sees the speedster Dodrio coming in, so swoops back in. But Revenant's Nova as well as 50, they're like, we'll challenge, we'll try to take down Prod, but Prod has help and assistance coming in from Might, so if this is a fight they take up, it's going to do a lot in terms of damage. But Nova trying to make best use of Swifty with the heal coming in, with the cotton spores that is going to be there. He tries his best, does damage, annoys them for a while and denies them from leveling up. But they were doing the wrong annoyance, I would say, because Ocean, the leveling up is being done from SATL's Gardevoir. Ouch! That's gotta hurt. He gets 3v1.
That hurts bad. That hurts bad. This is something that they were not at all expecting. For the starters, Revenant on 43 right now, and I believe they're going to be increasing those numbers for themselves. While SATL, I see them on a proper 0 for now. They have to go for a start. That start is supposed to happen there. it's yet not happening for them. 58 for Revenant, as so far they are just gaining and gaining good.
Right now, Revenant are the ones who have gotten the goal scored, and SATL have not even had a chance. They have not even been, as you mentioned, right, aggressive. They're not looking like they want to go ahead. They're playing safe, they're playing closer to their bases, but oh, might he's stuck. One speedster and then an all-rounder, both attacking him, getting goals dunked in as they're looking forward to destroying the top goal zone. But Tensa immediately, he finds a way to sneak in and get a couple of goals scored in, but doesn't matter. The top goal zone of SATL is already destroyed before they could get 9 goals done. And now with Reggie spawned both on the top and the bottom, look at Revenant, how much of a control they are. And of all the teams that we have here in the India region, the most aggressive is Revenant, and you can see that aggression coming in from their end. They're not stopping in for any fight. They get Reggie Aliki on top. They're looking forward to getting the Reggie on the bottom as well, which might just get into their hands as well, because you can see SATL, they are on the back foot.
They definitely are onto that back foot for themselves. We'll have to see what can happen in the entire situation, in the entire scenario. If you just see around it, and the chaos are happening on one side, but still we'll have to understand if that is indeed what SATL needs for a good start. I mean, they are onto those goalpost side. They have to break it up for themselves. But Scythe just coming up, taking down players. This looks really good as Revenant touches the 100 marker. A double KO streak coming up for them so far.
Blizzard is just playing way too good on that Sizer. He's just doing damage. He's
Wow.
caught the Gardevoir. Curse has been eliminated. Now Tensa is stuck. He gets eliminated. Unstoppable. Revenant, they're like, oh wait, you think you got some control after the Regirock? No, says the entire squad. Destroys the bottom goal zone as well. And they're now chasing Prod. Prod is like, somebody help me. Is there anybody to help me out? Take damage. He goes down. And now to follow it up, it looks like another KO is going to happen. A Unite being used from Crowley. But he's like, okay, I'll just swoop back in because I have Aeos energy and my teammates are looking a little bit tough. But finally, Tensai finds an opportunity to deliver a blow, a knockout, eliminates one player, and now the entire force of SATL, they're jumping back into the fight. They have isolated and separated Zishal, and they're putting all that they've got to eliminate him. And yes, they get the knockout.
SATL finally coming up onto the comeback that was needed from their side, but is that enough? That's the question, as they're going for the KOs for themselves again, and this is looking really good. Onto the sidelines of SATL, but is that enough? That's the only question. The team is playing together. The Unite has definitely happened, but look at that Nova. He was on really low HP, but he will be taking his own care for himself, going back onto the sideline. 101 score coming up for SATL. 130. They are increasing it, definitely. But once again, Revenant, they still have that lead, but I believe this is a close call. SATL, this might just be the start that they needed, and they might just have smiling faces for themselves in a while.
This matchup looks very well even matchup, right? Very well balanced. Best teams fighting out with their all. You could see how well it is going back and forth. For one, first 3 minutes we thought it was Revenant, but now with the next 3 minutes it looks like SATL is under control. Blizzard is going to be super crucial here, needs to control the fight, but he gets pushed right into the players of SATL. They eliminate him, and now they're chasing Zishal. After Zishal it will be Swifty, but they're like, oh wait, there's a Reggie Aliki. Let's make him an ally, take him to our favor, and they're immediately trying to melt it away. And Tensai, he's making sure he keeps all the players of Revenants at bay. And yes, SATL get the top lane boss Pokemon for themselves, and now they're not looking forward to stopping because they have an extra added on hand, who is going to be none other than Reggie Aliki. And Reggie Aliki gets a chance to sit on their goal zone, but in the meantime, what is Revenant doing? They push the players back and they eliminate 2 players, get a 2 knockout streak, and they're not stopping. Oh, Revenant, they're like, you might have gotten Reggie Aliki for yourselves, but you're not going to get the top lane control. But Tensai, he is not going to be kind. Understanding that he's a defender, he can smack that speedster, eliminates immediately. Nova down back to his base.
Definitely is. Back to 47 to 214 is the difference right now, as we see the numbers, the time. The time is the only crucial factor out here. 3 minutes remaining on to the clock with a few more seconds just coming up. Regilock would be taken down, I believe, slowly and steadily though. Yes, Regilock just goes down, and now this is going to be giving up a good lead for the players as well. SATL is looking pretty good, but Revenant is looking even better right now. 277 for themselves. Now they want to take things apart, as they were trying to pick Tensai again, but now I believe SATL is going to be together. No, it doesn't look like it. Crowley going for those range attacks for himself, but still not being able to find the things that they wanted, as we see a big cluster coming up on the bottom side, now onto the mid side.
30 seconds left here, Ocean. A super crucial battle between SATL as well as Revenant. Both the teams are super close. The difference is not huge. Revenant might have the lead for now, but it is not a big one. Zishal gets spotted, but Crowley is there to help him with his long range attack. Uses both his basic as well as solar beam coming in to push back the players of SATL to their own lanes, to their own mid lane and center area. But right now, it's time. With 10 seconds to go, you're going to be seeing the Rayquaza battle to start about. I'm looking forward to if Revenant are going to be immediately jumping on Rayquaza, or they're going to be looking forward to converting on the players of SATL. Revenant have control. Look how far they've pushed the players of SATL. Rayquaza is here, but still control is Revenant's.
Revenant is quite close to Rayquaza. Definitely would want to just take them down. And look at this. So this is a really good one. Blizzard taking against the fight of Might. Oh, this is a mighty fight if anything. Blizzard coming up with a storm for himself. But now it looks like he has his own teammates as well. The Unite is happening. But look at that. SATL is coming forward as well. They know it's fight of Rayquaza. 130 seconds onto the clock right now. SATL is looking pretty good. But Sizzle with that Mr. Mime. Oh my god. Mamoswine with those flashes is looking really good, and the chaos are happening by Dodrio, but still, is it enough? That's the only question.
He's the only one surviving Tensai. He's running away for his life, and Revenant are like, we have done the job, we've pushed them back, we'll take Rayquaza as well as score goals as we take down Rayquaza, get that advantage, and look at them, everybody is back in. Now all the players have respawned from SATL, but they were just far away before they could reach or look forward to a steal. Everybody will be looking forward to scoring hundreds and hundreds of goals right now, and Revenant easily storming and breaking and getting this first game under control. What a play from Revenant. The way they separated the players one after another, eliminating their all-rounder, that was the most crucial job. Eliminating that Azumarill, after that swooped in, directly eliminated Curse, who was going to be very crucial. You saw that side shot coming in, but nothing worked. Now all SATL can do is guard their goal zone, and if possible in the next 30 seconds, make a move either to the bottom lane as a 5-man or a top lane, and that's the only way they can get the goal scored in. But having a 400 difference, Ocean, I don't think it's possible.
Not at all. They know it. SATL also knows it, that the difference is a lot right now against them, obviously not in their favor. And so Revenant is going to be looking really happy with the first one in their bags, and this definitely showcases that Revenant, they were in it. We saw them conquer as well previously, and now they are conquering these areas, and Revenant gets it for themselves. SATL, they'll have to go for the next one if they need to go for the win.
I think Revenant pushed SATL so far enough that SATL giving them that space was the reason that SATL did not get any control in this final stretch. You can see Zishal played so well as a supporter. At all times he was there, and if maybe Zishal was taking a little bit of damage, Crowley was there right behind him, using that long range attack with the solar beam coming through, as well as the basic, as well as the light screen, making sure it does damage. And on top of it, as like a cherry on top of a cake, right? Blizzard. Him coming in with those bullet punches, he was so effective, has 5 knockouts as well as 6 assists, and as always we expect a supporter to a lot be in terms of assists. 11 assists for Swifty.
It looks so good. I mean, from Revenant side, we're talking about right Crowley, Swifty. The experience that they bring for themselves is incredible.
Yes.
And this time, Crowley coming up with the support, Swifty coming up with the support as well. Knew what was supposed to be done. Crowley with those range attacks was incredible. Zezol just doing really good. Blizzard taking all the fights in his hands was just incredible. And Dodrio Nova, we know Dodrio's capabilities. We know Nova's composure. It was incredible coming down to them. SATL, they tried to be the part of the fights, but they just could not.
Yeah, they just could not. You can see the movesets. Curse had a really good moveset, as talked about it. Psyshock and a Moonblast coming in. Ghoul also had a dive. But after Curse using his Psyshock, there was nobody to make use of it. Even the Aquatail coming through did not find that much value. I think that's something that maybe SATL had to pay attention or work on. Unfortunate for them. But you can see this graph. At a point, especially even in the final stretch situation, the score had only around a 60 goal difference, which could have been easily closed up from even SATL. But the way Revenant had control of the legendary pit, the mid lane, the center, nobody could deny them. And the way they fought and separated the players one after another, SATL had no control. They knew where the players were. Revenant knew they were hiding in the tall grasses, or they were either towards their bases. So what they did, they pushed them there, fought them right at their wild Pokemon, I would say, buff places, and then immediately eliminated them.
They definitely did. And looking about onto the opposing side, that is the SATL right now. From this side, you could see that they were at 214 for last 2 minutes. Just think about it, right? Not even 2 minutes. I would say since last 3.5 minutes, they were at that one score line, 214, and nothing else. They could not just gain anything. They could not gather anything. For the first 2 minutes, they had zero score line, and after for the last 3.5 minutes, they had 214 score line. They could not gain anything. Those are the crucial 5.5 minutes where they lost the game.
Initially, first 3-4 minutes, as you rightly mentioned, Revenant completely in control. Next 3 minutes, SATL got back into the groove, got back into the game. But I think they just gave too much space for Revenant where they could keep control of, where they could know that they could run around. I think that's where SATL kind of went on a back foot. This top lane fight, you saw they went a little bit too closer, allowed Blizzard to get closer to them, and Nova from the back swooped in. We've always talked about it that if there is a team having a speedster, worry about that speedster, because that speedster can push from any direction, and that's what happened. Nova swooped in and nobody was ready. That ambush immediately did so much damage, and speedsters are known for quick, heavy damage and run away, and that's what happened. You saw here Mammoth Mash coming in, a brilliant try from Tencent, but Unites were being also used from their opponents, and the Unites were just better coming in from Revenant compared to one Mammoth Mash which was their Ocean. Sad, but that's how it is for the first
one game done. Exactly, that's what I was going to say. One game done, though. It's sad, but one game done. We'll have to see if another one just has the same storyline, or if it just changes. Because in the first game of the entire day, when we were looking forward to different teams to represent God's Reign, we were talking about if there's a curveball that God's Reign will throw. But now I want to see the curveball coming up from SATL side onto Revenant. But keep in mind also, you remember this. Revenant versus SATL, this is something that everyone wanted to see. The fan favorite game is something that everyone wanted to see. But in this entire game, we saw how Revenant had the mentality of not letting SATL score anything for the first 2 minutes. That's where they had the lead, and not just the physical lead of the numbers, but the mental lead as well. And for the last 3.5 minutes, they did not let SATL score again. That is the lead. That is the mental lead that Revenant will take for the next match. SATL, I believe, they already know that Revenant is looking stronger than ever.
They are, and also for a fact to know that Revenant will come with a change in terms of the Pokemons that they pick. I think except for Swifty, most of them will find a couple of changes here and there in the picks that they will be doing in the draft phase. And again, now SATL were unable to counter in the first game. Now they have to figure out a newer counter in the second game again after seeing the draft picks. So I think SATL have to be ready for something. They will be worried. Let's jump into the game itself to see the draft pick right now. But before that, the bans. I feel like SATL will be looking forward to banning Nova's none other than that Dodrio, who was...
Dodrio or Mew? Come on, ban Dodrio or Mew.
I think it should be a Dodrio. Crowley was there at all times, yes, but Nova you saw at any times high, running from bottom to top lane, and immediately from the back lanes he was attacking, because of which he did do a lot of damage.
Yeah, that is true. So we'll see what happens. Ban phase is ending. We'll see the bans. Oh, come on.
No.
Come on. No. Why? Come on.
What just happened? At least we get to see an Urshifu. So, the newer Pokemons are being picked from SATL's end for the start. Revenant, are they going to be coming up with a Dragapult? We did see Mew coming in. Again, really good ranged Pokemon. Dragapult can also be used, but Dragapult actually gets in between the players, because of which might have to indulge in a fight. Just like we saw Cursed was not interested to, but Cursed was getting dragged into fights. So Cursed is like, this time, I'm going to pack in heavy punches. He picks up none other than the Sizer.
This is good for him. Curse just coming up with this one Ghoul with the 9 tails. That is looking incredible, if anything. Zario coming up for Blizzard. Is he gonna go for the pick? Come on.
Yeah, I think
Lucario
is the pick. I've seen Blizzard playing it.
Yeah. Nova with the Dodrio again. Alright.
SATL not banning the Dodrio. A big price to pay, Ocean.
Let's see if that price is indeed a big one or not. Definitely, we'll just get to know about that one. Tencent coming up with Mr. Mime for himself. Crowley, we know it. Mew is going to be his pick, definitely. This looks... Now again, Revenant looks strong, to be very honest.
Yeah, and Zishal, with Mime, he was, able to take damage, but he was also kind of taking damage and losing HP, because of which he had to back off at certain points. But now with Mamoswine, he does not have to be worried about that. He knows he can take a lot of damage on himself. He can tank it upon himself and make sure he provides efficient cover for Crowley or maybe Nova, or even if needed for Swifty. But on the other end, looking at how SA2L have formed themselves, they want to pack a lot of punches. They've bought in Urshifu as well and the Sizer, and then they have Ghoul, making sure, I think the Avalanche is the reason, because using either Sizer and Ghoul on that Ninetales, or maybe Urshifu and that Ninetales coming through, where with the Avalanche they slow them down and immediately Urshifu has a chance to punch them and send them back in, whether it's a throat punch coming through or wicked blow, whatever it is, or maybe going in for liquidation. Not too sure what the moveset is going to be, but it's going to be interesting. Game 2, let's go.
Let us go and let us see what is going to happen. As we just talk about it, Revenant versus SA2L. This might just be the last game, or it might just go 1-1 if SA2L just pulls out a victory. We'll have to see that though. That is in the question as we start off with the game. And now, let's see who's going to go for the first goal. Alright, so far nothing though.
In terms of, I would say, the mid laners, the central area where Pokemons are being seen, as you know, it should be a speedster. That's what Revenant is having. Dodio trying to level up to a Dodrio. Whereas on the other end, it is going to be SA2L's Might who's on the side here trying to level up. In the meantime, the fight has already started. But Revenant, as we know them really well, both in terms of damage, attack, as well as goal scoring, they've started it off. They've gotten the first 4 goals dumped.
As of now, yes. And this is actually the same mentality if you think about it. Revenant pulled off in the previous game as well, right? They pulled off the first few goals, and then they stopped SA2L. That was their mindset.
Yes.
But now this is where we see Crowley coming up 1-on-1. Alright, against Tencent. But still, now they're going to be just disengaging from this side, which looks pretty good. Everyone's just going to be around the tall grasses for themselves. Tencent, now I believe he will go against Shishol. Yes, he is. But this is looking bad.
They were waiting for this.
For him. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It was a setup that Revenant did really well, and SA2L players just walked in. Thankfully, Ghoul will still be alive, but the bottom goal zone is about to be destroyed. There's just 30 more Aeos energies that needs to be dunked, Ocean.
They definitely are, but we'll have to see and understand what happens in this entire scenario and the entire situation. As you see, again, no goal scored by SA2L, and it's been 2 minutes, almost 2 minutes, right? That's history repeating itself again. That happened in the previous game. That is happening again in this game. SA2L players are just being taken out.
There's nothing that they're able to do, and look at this, Ghoul is left alone. And what do Revenant do? They're like, he's alone, let's just get goals scored in. And 110 right now. Ghoul, he tried for a 1v1, but it's a Mamoswine that you're trying to fight. Finally Tencent coming in will be able to eliminate this Mamoswine. Still trying to fight it out, but there is a helper hand coming through. That is none other than Crowley with the surf. Saves, but now looks like Crowley might just go down. But Crowley, he did have teleport, runs away immediately, making use of his held item. He dodges and runs away.
Now let's see what happens right now as they are going for more and more knockouts. You see that happening. This Revenant is dangerous. I'm telling you, this Revenant is actually absolutely dangerous. Nothing is stopping them. They're just going for goals after goals. 152 points secured for them. A double KO streak, a double knockout streak coming up for SA2L, but I don't think so that's going to be helping up them in any way, shape or form. Look at all the Pokemons on Revenant side, either level 8 or level 7 or level 6 are coming up on beyond that side. But that definitely matters, and that makes up a big difference for them.
Yeah, on better level, better advantage are the players of Revenant, and this time especially Nova playing with the team. Previously we used to see Nova used to run around top, mid, bottom lane irrespective. He used to swoop in quick damage and run away. But this time he's playing with the team, because of which more KOs are just falling up for Revenant, and there is nothing that SA2L players are able to do. Finally we are going to see a bottom lane boss fight coming through, where both Revenant and SA2L are going to go head against each other. But it looks like again it is going to be Revenant who are going to be coming on top. Might is looking super low, he needs to be saved. Nova comes in, swoops in with his pick coming through, but it is still Urshifu with the damage able to be done. Comes in with the chop, I hope, and eliminates that Dodrio. But Crowley answers not in kind at all, eliminates the opponent Mime, and now trying to do a lot more damage, but swoops in again is going to be Urshifu trying to do damage along with the Scyther coming in, Curse, and this is where tides are looking like it can turn around as Revenant's players are sent back.
They definitely were sent back, but now they want to be a part of the party for themselves as they are trying to
steal!
gather up numbers for themselves. Oh my god, Revenant comes in and swoops in the right time. Right place for them, and they are looking so good. A double knockout streak coming up, and more knockouts are happening. For a while, SG12 thought they had a good run for themselves, but Revenant trying to change it all, and they are changing it all. What is he doing? Come on!
He's trying to waste time. I think he's just acting like a dummy at this point so that SATL players can go to the top. And you can see that's what they wanted to do, and it's only Zshol on top, but Zshol is already called in reinforcements. Blizzard is here. Regieleki damage has not been done a lot. Ninetales has already been eliminated. Mammoth Smash coming through, and you can see Tensai was forced back. Crowley coming in with a big solar beam, does so much damage to Might, and now Might is about to be eliminated, but looks like Might was just saved with the Blissey and the Unite being used, and Crowley says no, I'm going to run away from this fight as Blizzard does get eliminated, but Regieleki is still alive. SATL trying to find some control in the top lane. They have delivered a knockout with the help of the Sizer coming in from there, and Zshol trying to still push them back. Crowley helping them out. The Mime is out. Unite being used from the Scyther. Can it find any value? It is on Zshol right now, but this Zshol being the defender can take and tank a lot of damage and takes out Urshifu along with another player, none other than the Blissey, and Revenant back in charge.
Revenant can do this all day, I'm telling you, my friend. They can do this all day, but I believe there are going to be knockout streaks coming up. Oh my god! This is where Revenant might just struggle a bit, but look at that. They are just changing the tides, turning it against as SC2L. They will be forced out onto the backside again, but Revenant, 232 points versus 88 for SC2L. They need more for themselves, but nothing is helping them. Whatever they are trying, it's not at all working for them, and now I believe they're going to be taking a fight against Regieleki. Alright, they are trying though, but still, it's Revenant who still has that upper hand for them, but SC2L is coming close for them. We'll have to see what happens, but I don't think so that's going to be enough. But no, this is going to be enough as they are going to be taking Regieleki down. Wow.
This time they tried for a steal but failed, but you can see because SATL played together and concentrated on Regieleki rather than the players of Revenant, they were able to get Regieleki and also deliver a blow to Blizzard and send him back to the base. But one thing that players from SATL need to be worried about is every player from Revenant is already at double digits and further away from the level 10. They're already at level 11, closer to level 12. SATL players, they need to find a way to get to those double digits. They're finally getting there, but there is still a difference. There is already level 13 Lucario, level 10 Dodrio. So it's going to do a lot of damage, and way before Regieleki could have even stepped into the top goal zone of Revenant, it gets KO'd. And look at Revenant having all their goal zones still going for them. None of them still even, I would say, close to being destroyed.
Now let's see what can happen in the entire situation, as SA2L, I believe this is the lowest score that they have had so far in anything. 88 is where they are stuck. 106, alright, they are taking up the jump for themselves, but it's still not enough as the Revenant is just ripping things apart. Nova is trying to take up a fight, and Might, I don't think so Might's gonna survive from this one. He's trying though, but still he might not survive. Everyone's on Might, and he will go out. He will go out again, back to his own base from where he will start. But Revenant, oh, the fight that they are bringing.
SATL did get Regice in the bottom. The boss was theirs, but right now the big boss is going to be spawning. None other than the Rayquaza. Are SATL ready for it? Mime yet needs to get his Unite. Same goes for Mamoswine as well as the Dodrio on the Revenant side, but with just 1 second to go. But they'll be still prepared. Swifty, he's very up close along with Zshol to make sure if Zshol takes damage, quickly heal him up. Give him that recovery chance. And you can see already the spores are coming in. A big Icicle Spear does damage to Prod. Crowley comes up with his Solar Beam, figuring out where the players are. But Might, he's threaded closer to the Legendary Pit. But still this Rayquaza fight has not started. But the main thing for SATL to be worried about is they are on the back foot.
But I think they are ready, as Rayquaza has appeared, and this is where they're just trying to go for it. They're taking up the fight for themselves. Look at this, but he might need to understand he was all alone in the entire circumference of all the players, of all the Revenant players. But Tensai now, he might just get KO'd. Everyone's just trying to put so much pressure on him, but look at SC2L. They are changing things. This might not just look good for Revenant, as Zshol might just go down. KOs are happening, but SC2L Now they have the numbers game for themselves, taking down Rayquaza. They're trying to take down Rayquaza, but will they be able to do that? That's the only question. 50% HP on Rayquaza as SC12 has the entire space. What will Revenant do? That's the only question. They are trying, but
Revenant
will
got
they be able to
it.
take it? Oh my god, Revenant! The steal!
Oh my god, that's gotta hurt. Ocean. That's a beating that they will not at all be okay with.
Oh, you
After
wanna call it a
draining.
2-0?
Yeah, it is done. There is no way there's a comeback coming in
Oh
with just
my
30
God.
seconds. You can see they're trying. But what has Revenant done? They've kept Guardians at their bases, not letting any cheeky players get scores done. And you can see a 2 KO streak. Nova, the man who got that Rayquaza for the team, he swooped in using that Speedster's ability, the Speed's ability, gets Rayquaza, and now also denies players and eliminates them. Knockouts after knockouts.
This was just mind-blowing coming up from Revenant's side, and they played with their mind. What a game coming up. SATL did try to go for it, but Revenant, they had every single plan ready. They had a plan B for themselves, if anything. 628 versus 106. Revenant was just a better team today.
Best use of the Dodrio coming in, 215, and on top of it, we could not get a chance to see when Crowley was scoring, but also Crowley being present at all directions for his teammates. That was just brilliant play. And on top, I would say Zishal, what a play on that Mamoswine. He looked like, oh wait, Mamoswine is about to be eliminated, he's about to be knocked out, and immediately he is back into the game, uses his Unite, or there is Swifty who throws down Cotton Spores, making sure that his teammate regains health, and then Zishal is back in action. Such a good play coming in from the entire Revenant's team. Prod tried his best, he was always there, but Might being denied, Cursed being denied, that was the heavy beating. And you saw Ghoul, I don't think his Avalanche ever came into play.
Yeah, it did not come into play, but SATL just could not do anything. Think about it. They had a really good set of attacks for
Oh, he didn't
themselves,
even
but
take Avalanche.
yeah, exactly, it did not have it. But they still had a really good set of attacks, right, for themselves. But it just could not get to the level where they could just even use it or just go for it. But on the other side, Revenant, they played with their minds. This time it was, I believe, around 3 minutes marker. Yes, it was around 3 minute marker or a 2 minute marker. SATL was at 0 points again, and then from the last 8 minute to 10 minute marker, they did not even gather a single point.
Yeah, they tried, and look at that. The maximum score that SATL have got themselves is 106. And as you rightly said, in the last final stretch, they did not get anything. And you can see even in between, just before the final stretch, the only score that they got was 18.
They tried though.
Yeah, they tried. They got closer to the base, to the goal zones of Revenant, but still nothing was working out. The only goal zone they destroyed was the bottom goal zone, the first goal zone of Revenants. But whereas you see Revenants, and throughout the entire game, you can see scores being dunked from none other than Nova at all points, whether it is 2 minute mark, 4 minute mark, 6 minute, 8 minute, 10 minute, at all times he was just concentrated on scoring. Same goes for Crowley. Just in between the 4th and the 6th minute he did not score, but every other time he went for scoring, and his teammates were there for assistance. Zishal did not even have to worry about scoring. All his intention was help his teammates out in getting victories in the battles on delivering knockouts.
Oh, well, this is what the scoreline reads now, right? And this scoreline is definitely that Revenant is going to be happy with. But if we just talk about replay as of what happened, look at this. SATL was really struggling. You see how the players were just taken out solo, apart from each other. They did try to gather up. They did try to unite with each other in a few later stages when, Rakuza did appear. They did try to go for a united gameplay. But then again, Revenant just had the right timing. They had the right place to be and to take up the fight for themselves, and that just worked out pretty good in their favor.
Yeah, and as we said in the start, right, Ocean, Nova, we saw him previously, how he played was scoring goals, but this time what did he do? He was playing with a team because of which his pecs at all times was doing so much damage. The only steal that Revenant were not able to do was this Regieleki fight, but Did that affect them? Not at all. They did not even flinch. They did not even give a chance for the players of SATL nor Reggie Aliki, the boss itself, to sit in that goal zone, making it vulnerable. They destroyed it immediately. And this is what I was talking about. You thought maybe Zishal is about to be eliminated. Bang on, he swoops back in, comes in with the Mammoth Swash, and he makes his teammates back into the game. That tells you that Zishal was there at all times tanking damage, and that's why we talked about it, that it's so crucial
Yeah.
when you change these minuscule of Pokemon changes, it feels like, but it does so much effect for your team and the opponents.
It definitely affects a lot when it comes down to the team and the team players, right? But for now, I believe today's day was a big roller coaster. We started off
Yeah.
thinking God's Reign. I mean, the champions of the land. We thought God's Reign is gonna just have everything for themselves. That did not happen. Revenant, SA2L, both are the fan favorite teams, I get it. But SA2L was really struggling to get those points for themselves,
Yes.
while Revenant was just getting the numbers and getting the numbers and getting the numbers, and they showcased what it means to have a one-sided fight. It was not exactly one-sided, but Revenant made it so strong
Yeah.
for themselves that they just, definitely got it for themselves.
Jump into the league table, you get a picture. For now, because both the teams have gotten these victories, it'll show position 1 and 1. But Ocean, we know very soon things will start switching up. It'll be
Yeah.
upsets coming through. Now, upset for SATL and God's Reign, but for victory, celebration, Revenant. Now, we did see Crowley Rao's heavy metal music, so he's going to be listening to heavy metal music. On the other end, True Rippers, I think they will be choosing Badsha for themselves rather than the players of God's Reign. They'll not get that chance. League table for today, not a lot to talk about, but as you rightly said, SATL had no control, not in the scoreboard, nor even in the game as well.
Yeah, the control was missing, but I believe they'll have to get that control as soon as they can. It is really, really important for them if you just talk about it. Obviously, I believe a couple of more matches remaining for SA2L, for Revenant. Obviously, we see Marcos Gaming as well, True Rippers and God's Reign. There are matches remaining for all of these teams, a few. For Marcos, one extra, but we'll still have to understand and see what they can do when it comes down to the understanding of the entire gameplay when they are going to be fighting against each other once again. But that's a story of a different day, right?
Ocean, as you rightly said, Marcos right now is going to be sitting in a position where they've watched all the four teams
Exactly.
fighting. Right? They've written down everything. Just as we said, True Rippers had a chance in their entire last final national playoff stage where they were able to witness four teams. They immediately countered really, really well to God's Reign, and now for Marcos having a chance for the next storyline to start off, as we are going to see you on the next Sunday. I am excited after seeing big upsets coming in on day one of the Asia Champions League in India region.
Definitely, we'll see how these players, how these teams are going to be doing. But as of now, just as we talk about the India League table, True Rippers, Revenant, first, 3 points. That 2-0 sweep definitely showcases it. I was still somehow hoping from both the sides, for both the matches, I would say,
Yeah.
I was still somehow hoping at least one game that would be 1-1 or something, and then we'll
Yes.
see a decider game. But it did not happen. The start is so one-sided. I want to see what happens when Revenant takes a fight against True Rippers or something. Like, you understand that.
Yeah.
So far. So, yeah.
There is a rivalry, God's Reign and Revenant, and now there is True Rippers and Revenant. How it will fare is going to be a very
Yeah.
interesting. But as you rightly said, right, we did expect at least one of the games to go to a 1-1, and which was, I think, most probably the God's Reign versus True Rippers. You saw God's Reign were in control in the early 5 minutes. What did True
Yeah.
Rippers do? An immediate turnaround, a curveball that they did was that Rayquaza battle. That they got back in control is the reason that True Rippers got themselves a clean sweep of 2-0. But again, we did talk about it. You have to be ready about these disappointments as well as losses because it's the best of three. You don't have a lot of chances. You cannot take a chance, or you cannot think that, okay, we have given up one match, it is okay. You give up one game, that means that the next game is a do or die situation. And I think that teams did know it was do or die, but again, to start things off here in the India region in the Asia Champions League, it is a big thing for them. So maybe pressure can also be a factor that maybe acted here, Ocean.
Maybe pressure is the factor that acted up here for the opponents if we just talk about it. But I believe all these teams are so good when it comes down to handling the pressure. Or once again, my theory is still going to be the same. They might just be testing the waters to understand what are the
Yes.
teams up to, because they have other games. They know they can just gather up their own momentum once again. But this time, there's just one team that did not even play but still knew the strategies. It's Marcos Gaming. They just know everyone's strategies. They know what are the bans coming up.
Yeah.
They know picks coming up. They know how they are playing it. They know how they are just trying to go for it. They know how strong Revenant is. They know how strong True Rippers is. They know how they are just coming back when it comes down to a comeback situation, just like True Rippers did against God's Drain. They know what SCTUL is lacking. So Marcos Gaming has the entire blueprint in front of them. They just need to act accordingly, and if they do it, I believe we might just see another 2-0 from their side. But to whom, that is one thing that we'll have to see.
Yeah, just like blueprints, and in case you guys need a lot in terms of information, not just about the India region, East Asia and Southeast Asia, to see
Yep.
who might be the top teams coming in, you can use the link below, which was right just now popping on your screens. That's where you'll be getting all the details of the entire Asia Champions League. Because in this first stage, it is in the league table that we saw, the league format that the teams are fighting. So everybody has a chance. None of the teams will be out. Even in the second stage, you will see all your 5 teams, or in total 15 teams of the Asia Champions League's splendid teams who are giving it their all here to qualify and reach the offline stage, which is none other than the LAN. They will get a chance to fly down to Malaysia and getting themselves the spoils, right? Not just the prize, but the bragging rights, as you said, Ocean.
I mean, let us go to Malaysia as well. I mean, we should also go there.
Yeah.
That's going to be indeed. But obviously, that's going to be a story of a different time, right, Sam?
We will be looking forward to it. We will discuss about it. But for now, for this fine Sunday, it's going to be coming to an end. Brilliant 2 best of 3s that has been seen. We'll be waiting for the next 2 BO3s coming in, but that'll be on the next Sunday. But in case you're wondering, as I mentioned, about the East Asia and Southeast Asia region, do press that link. You will get all the details. But for now, it's going to be me, Lucifer, along with Ocean, signing out on day 1. Take care. Have a great evening.